Get Nasty here on a Thursday afternoon. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. Our guy Anthony, he'll be out for the rest of the week today and tomorrow. Then we'll get him back on Monday. Boys, that's a series win last night, huh? Carey?
Well, yeah.
You text me. I remember you text me. You sent me those pictures. You were really excited.
I was. You saw that?
I did. How could I miss?
I was excited. I mean, we should be excited. Now, let's get a series sweep. You know, why stop there? Why be content with winning 2 of 3 instead of 3 of 3?
Well, no, I don't think you should be content, but based on how the Cardinals have played going into this series, this is very positive.
It is. Do you not want more?
I always want more, Carey.
You know me. I always want more.
You can't get enough.
Can't get enough. I like it. I love it. What? I want more of it.
Yeah,
you know?
I love winning.
Yeah. So let's go get another one today. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Let's not be satisfied.
Nothing wrong. What did you think of the way the game played out?
Well, we talked about it in the office. One person that we have been waiting to have some clutch moments, or a clutch moment, or any moment. Your guy, Nolan Arenado.
My guy.
Yeah, you pick him all the time. He's not your guy?
No.
Oh, he's not your guy anymore. All of a sudden, the guy is a 10-time Gold Glove winner, and all of a sudden, he's not your guy anymore because he had a couple of years where maybe he didn't reach the potential that he had before. So you're a what have you done for me lately type of guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you.
I am.
So are you.
And then your real guy.
Uh-huh.
You won't deny this one. Your real guy. Big Burley. You love that guy.
Yeah, my unofficial adopted son.
There you go. Did an outstanding job as well. So you get those two guys driving in runs and making plays. And I think, you got a pretty good start from Eric Fetty. Not the start that he had in Chicago last week. Much better. Didn't have an inning where he blew up. And so, you got to win. And those are the things that is going to be required. You have to hit. You have to score. You have to pitch well. Ryan Helsley got to go out there for the second day, which was a bit of a shocker. He's probably not going to be available today if you need to close out a game. So let's hope that we're up by like 4 or 5 runs and don't need them.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, I thought all in all it was a good outing by the Cardinals. Closing some ground in that wild card and not able to catch the Brewers. The Brewers are rolling right now.
Yeah, that's weird because
beating the hell out of the Braves.
Yeah. The Braves got to feel terrible about themselves right now.
But we talked about that, though. I said that the Braves were probably going to take a step back. Just too many injuries to overcome, and maybe this is the point where, that wear and tear is starting to wear them down. So the Brewers are rolling, but you got to make up ground in this wild card right now.
So Eric Fetty, with his first start at Busch Stadium, he went 5 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. That's a pretty good night. And when he was talked to after the game, he said that probably could have went out there for another inning or 2, but he understood, what Ollie was wanting to accomplish. And, his pitch count was at 93 already after 5 innings. That's pretty high. Ollie has been in that 80 to 90 pitch range, and wherever it falls, that's kind of where you're at, or kind of where you leave the game. Then Fernandez gets in there, gives up an earned run, a walk, and then, of course, the big 3, they just shut it down. Romero, Kittredge, Helsley. It's a 3-headed monster that you don't want to see.
The big 3, I like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if, as we get closer to playoff time and trying to make it into the wild card, if we start to see Ollie, give the starting pitchers more rope. Like, hey, 93 pitches, can you give me another inning? 105 pitches is not terrible if you can give me another inning of shutout ball. I wonder if, as we start to approach, the witching hour, as we get closer to it, if he decides that, hey, we're going to give these guys a little bit more time to spend another inning, another opportunity to go out there.
I think it's an interesting thought, but I think the way that Ollie has been managing his bullpen, the bullpen is essentially the group that has won you these games, right? So if you need to win games, who are the most reliable group of players? It's probably going to be those bullpen guys. So I could see them using the bullpen even more just to solidify those wins.
I wonder if that gets them, we talked about it, the fatigue issue. Because Ryan Helsley right now, I highly doubt that if you need him in a closing situation that he's playing tonight, that he's going to get out there. So I wonder if you can give those starters just, if you can give me 6 innings, if you can give me 7 innings, let's do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to overextend this bullpen that has been probably the brightest spot of this entire team all year.
So I think that this has kind of been the plan the whole time. I think that Ollie will expand the games for the starters. I think that he has been protecting Sonny Gray. I think that he has been protecting some of the other guys from pitching too much. He's got that 80 to 85 pitch count, and he starts to pull guys out of the game. Meanwhile, he'll let Palante go out and throw 120, but that's a young arm. It's a young arm. You know what I mean? So maybe there's a difference there. But I think you will see Ollie start to let the starting pitchers go a little deeper, because one would have to know that your bullpen cannot sustain being used as much as it has for an entire season.
Right.
And if your goal is to make the playoffs, and this is why you've kind of pulled the ball out of your pitcher's hands early, when you're getting the last 20, 25 games, I'm sorry, you're going once every 5 days, and you're going. You're going until you can't go no more, or things are terrible.
Yeah, I agree. But I think, like I said, I just hopefully, you know, Randy and I, we would always talk about this in the morning when we were on the opening drive, when I was on the opening drive. And he would always say, who do you trust more? Who is the best person available in this moment? And in my opinion, if that starting pitcher is the best person to get those next couple of guys out, then you roll with that. No matter what, especially coming down, you know, down the stretch, especially now. Like, if that starting pitcher, if Kyle Gibson is the best guy, if he's better than Ryan Fernandez to get these three guys out, then you let him roll no matter how many pitches he has at that moment. So I think it just boils down to who you trust more and who is the better person for that spot at that time.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, you might have, like last night, you rolled out the big three, 2 nights in a row for Helsley. Probably not going to have him available. Yeah. You're not sure who you're going to have available. So I believe it's Gibby on the bump tonight, correct?
Yep.
So Gibby, you know that he's not only just capable, but wanting to give you 7 innings is what he's wanting to do. And so, wanting to do something like that, Carey, and accomplishing it are two different things, right?
Well,
you never know if you have that in your back pocket or not.
If you got it, you should give it.
You should definitely, absolutely. But maybe if you're not allowed to, right? Never know. You don't want anybody getting hurt. So, based on that, we got our guy, Gibby, who can go deep into the game, apparently.
You got 7, that's deep enough, I'm sure. Maybe go a little deep.
Spare your bullpen a little bit. That way you don't need the Ryan Helsley coming over there. What do you think, Marshy?
Well, I completely missed what was said. And then you said it again, and I picked up on what you were saying. And I'm not shocked by any of it. Not shocked by any of it. But Kyle Gibson has been, I think he's been a very reliable arm for you. Sure, have there been, you know, some starts where you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't really look that good. But for the most part, he's been reliable, and I think this is a start where you can lean heavy on him. Hopefully he can go deep, as you said, Jamie. Overall, I think the team is starting
to. In him.
I think so.
He's shown it before.
He's a wily vet.
Yep. Oh yeah. Gave you 7 last outing.
Yeah. That's pretty deep.
Yep.
It's gonna be a good show.
It's more than 5.
8 is better though.
8, 9 would be great.
Yep.
Now we can't be asking for too much, right?
Well, there is a thing called a complete game. It does exist.
It does.
There you go.
I mean,
It's not going to happen every single game, though.
It's kind of like a unicorn in today's game. Certainly a unicorn for Cardinals pitchers this year. But it does exist, guys, and we can only hope.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm just excited that Nolan Arenado got a base hit that drove runners in.
Is that good or bad, though?
Like, I feel excited about that?
It's almost like patronizing the whole thing. Like, I feel great. Nolan Arenado got an RBI.
Well, you got to start somewhere, Jay.
Yeah,
you do.
And it's not like he smoked the ball. You know, he chopped it over the third baseman's head. But hey, a hit's a hit in the box.
At least
box
it
score
in the
says
box score.
exactly.
At least it was pulled.
He pulled it.
He pulled it. He hasn't been doing a lot of that this year.
So.
Then we got that going for us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the final game of the series will be tonight. It looks like a 6:15 p.m. first pitch. You've got, is that Baz? Is that how you say his
So
name?
I looked it up.
Boz?
It is Boz, B-O-Z. I looked up the pronunciation guide because I'm a weirdo like that, and I needed to know how to say his last name. It is Boz.
Boz.
Like the Boz.
The Boz. All right, well, he is a right-handed pitcher on the bump for the Rays. He's got a 3.6 ERA, 1.4 whip. So the Cardinals got their work cut out for him. Meanwhile, come back with Kyle Gibson, who's 7-4 with a 4.04 on the bump for your Cardinals tonight. All right, we're going to get into a lot of things here today. We've already started off on the right foot. My guy, Carey, he's ready to go. But what are the Cardinals missing from an organizational standpoint? We're going to talk about this coming up, and it's not just players. What are they missing top to bottom for even the fan experience? We're going to get into that next here on 101 ESPN. Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. But right before the break, I'd asked a question, and I'll ask it again. What are the Cardinals missing from an organizational standpoint? It sounds like a simple enough question, but I don't want to hear a bat. One more guy for the rotation. No, let's look beyond that. What is the organization missing? Marcy, I know you had dropped this into our show today. You had very specific thoughts on this.
Yeah, so BK and Ferrario, they were, BK and Tanner, they were talking about last night's attendance. 31,401 was the attendance that was announced and whatnot. And, they're asking for mic drops and stuff. And I thought about this from a different perspective of what is this team missing in terms of, like, are they missing a legit superstar, right? Like, I know you mentioned, let's not say, an ace or whatever, but, like, what type of superstar? Is it someone who has flair? Is it somebody that, puts their head down and goes to work? Or is it something in the stadium? Like, is it something to do with the fan experience? Like you mentioned, like, what is that specific thing? I want to know what Cardinal fans think of that and chime in and whatnot. But that's kind of where I took this. To me, I think that they're missing a little bit of flair. Like, I think the team's boring.
Yeah, I wrote down some things. Aaron Judge, Ronald Acuna Jr., Bobby Witt Jr., Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani, Bryce Harper, Paul Skeens, Corbin Burns. Like, that's what they're missing.
Yeah.
Or people like that.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Right.
You're missing
like the profile.
You're missing that. Like, you're missing the superstar. I was listening to BK earlier, and he was saying that he goes to the games to watch the other team. Like, you see the Cardinals all the time, but the excitement when you're going to the game is not because of Paul Goldschmidt at this point. It's not because of Nolan Arenado. It's because, Shohei is coming to town. Oh, Aaron Judge and Juan Soto will be coming to town. Like, those are the games that you want to see. And I think if you're looking at, the attendance and the numbers and people, the reason why people aren't showing up, it's not exciting. It's not, there aren't players that draw excitement or make you want. Mason Wynn is outstanding, but if you're not driving the ball over the fence, I think that's the things that people want to see, like home runs, big home runs. They want to see big plays. Mason Wynn is fun to watch from a defensive standpoint, and the offense has picked up in terms of power, but when you're going to a game, you want to see something that you have not seen before or that you may not ever get to see again. When Shohei was pitching, you definitely want to be there on a night where he's pitching and hitting. Like, you want to see it. I don't think the Cardinals have those names that I just named that people want to attend and see. Like, when the Cardinals go on the road, are they must-see TV for opposing teams' fans? There you go.
Probably
so people aren't showing up in Washington. Oh, I gotta see Paul Goldschmidt right now. No. So there is not a player when the Cardinals are even on the road that opposing fans are clamoring to go see in person. Same thing for those fans here. We're not clamoring to see those players in person, and I think that that's what they're missing, the star player.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I totally support what you're saying because you had, I think the Cardinals, what they viewed is once they got Paul Goldschmidt, they had their star player. And we know that the DeWitt family are very focused on always having a Hall of Famer in the lineup. And I'm sure they thought that, hey, this is a potential Hall of Famer. And Goldie, he might get there. He might. I don't see him getting in. I see it being very close, but doesn't matter. He played at the level of a Hall of Famer for a number of years here for the Cardinals. You also acquired Nolan Arenado. And Nolan Arenado put together, what 2 or 3 really good seasons for the Cardinals. 30-plus home runs, 100 RBI, platinum gloves, all that stuff. He also is a potential Hall of Famer. He probably will get in. So now you have these 2 guys on your roster you deem to be Hall of Famers. The problem is they haven't played like Hall of Famers for almost 2 years now.
Right.
So you need something. But Hall of Famers don't just grow on trees. And it's difficult to go get those players because the Juan Sotos of the world, the Aaron Judges, Mike Trouts, all these guys, they get massive contracts. And some of them get massive contracts that your team just simply can't, not that they can't afford and continue to do smart business if they send it out there. So a $300-400 million contract, you might be suffering somewhere else. And you get your superstar, but you may not. Then you might have a bunch of number 4s in your rotation.
Well, I think that's funny that you say that because I think a lot of fans would argue that they don't have that guy and they're also not doing smart business moves. And they do have like 4 number 4s in their rotation. without spending a ton of money.
Marshy,
they spend money. I would argue they don't spend it on the right.
But here's what I just said, though. You do have those guys. From a financial standpoint, a financial commitment right now. Arenado and Goldie are those guys.
Right.
They're not performing to that level, but their paychecks, when they clear, are the same amount of money as what if they're hitting 30 home runs right now.
Right.
So that money that's been allocated for what the Cardinals deem to be Hall of Fame-esque players is still being paid to players who aren't playing that way anymore.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is difficult for the Cardinals. They're going to have to get out from Goldie's contract. Who knows what happens with Arenado. But ultimately, you're right. I think they're missing that superstar.
Yeah, and you're talking about those players. You're not getting the return on that investment right now.
No.
Like from Paul Goldschmidt. Based on, like, if he's not getting the amount, what is it, $26 million right now? Or is he, I think it's $26 million for him.
Something like that.
If you're getting those numbers, you're okay with that. But you're probably getting the numbers of a $10 to $12 million player at this point. And so it changes how you view that as an organization. And again, I think it's just having those players that people want to come see. The excitement, the joy, winning games, knowing that you are more than likely going to win a game as opposed to probably losing a series. This series against the Tampa Bay Rays was extremely important, right? Because both teams, I think, went into the series with the same record. Both teams were kind of 2 or 3 games out of the wild card, essentially mirroring each other. Both teams minus in the run differential. A lot of similarities. You said the Rays decided to sell off a lot of pieces at the trade deadline. The Cardinals did not. So the Cardinals technically should be winning this series and should hopefully sweep today. But when you're watching this team, it's just how excited are you to go to the game? How excited are you to watch them play against a team when you don't know what the outcome is going to be?
Yeah, it's tough. We get a couple of texts here, and it just talking about the future of the Cardinals. Are Mason Wynn, Jordan Walker, are those guys the next wave? Potentially. I mean, Mason Wynn's having a heck of a year this year, but Jordan Walker's still in AAA Memphis, so that's tough to say where Jordan Walker's going to end up. And we get another text from 618. It says, wrong, Jamie. Cards are paying $27 million and $25 million for Goldie. That's not a Hall of Famer payment. Okay.
It's a text from the 817 saying the Cardinals are very reactionary instead of proactive. They have a very reactionary approach instead of a proactive approach, which I agree with.
But outside of the players, what could improve this baseball club? Like, let's get back to the core of the question. From a standpoint of a fan that goes to the games, like, yes, the superstar, check that box. We'd like to have an Albert Pujols. Yes, check. What else?
I don't think the fan experience is. I mean, for me, and I can't speak for everybody, but I don't care what the ballpark looks like. I don't care what amenities they have. I don't care what hot new item they're selling at the concession stands. I go to watch the game. I go to watch the players on the field perform. And so I don't know if they added something to the concession stands. Oh, you got to try this out. Or, they put, I know in Dallas and at Jerry's World, they got the huge Jumbotron where everybody is looking up instead of looking down at the field. I don't know if in addition to the stadium is going to make fans flock there and say, I got to see this. I don't know if there's anything like maybe cutting ticket prices would get more people to show up. Maybe having
Carey, stop talking foolishly.
Well, then nothing, Jamie. Okay. Nothing other than winning baseball.
For you.
I think for most.
I'm clarifying.
What do you think?
So I think that there's a lot of things the Cardinals can do differently.
Okay.
From a baseball standpoint, spending some money from within to develop your players. Spend money, get a pitching lab. Find out what team has the greatest resources in the league, and you match that. And if it's the Dodgers, you match it, because this is something that creates the foundation of your team, is the development of young players and the continued development of veteran players.
But what does that do? What is the end result of that?
More wins.
Better players.
Better players, more wins.
Which makes people want to show up.
That's right.
At the end of the day, I don't give a damn whether it's pitching lab, whether it's going out and paying for the players, whether it's trading, whether it's drafting and evaluating and developing, whatever it is, at the end of the day, who is on the field and how well do they perform?
But the product on the field will get better. By default, it'll get better because you're working more with your players.
I think that's the end result. The end result is, okay, the team is better. I think we're looking for
how to
get there. I also think that the fans for far too long have felt silenced almost. Like all of their thoughts don't matter to what they're paying for. And you see that all the time with certain movie franchises, TV franchises. There's a lot of people that just end up complaining about what they're seeing because they don't find it good enough because what they've seen before was good enough. And it almost seems like they're trying to hold the people in charge accountable, but the other people that are in charge, not that they don't care, they're showing you, though, that maybe they don't care what you think.
Not as important.
Even though you are the consumer.
Correct.
So let's open up the mic drops for this because I'm very curious. We have a ton of text messages that are coming in currently. Let's hear what you have to say. Get on the 101 ESPN mobile app. Click the little microphone. Leave a message. Get on the text line. 314-399-9646. And we want to hear what you have to say. We're going to recycle this later on in the show. We're going to plop it in somewhere else. We'll play your mic drops. We'll react. A lot of great ideas coming through right now. Keep them coming. We will get back into it. But again, please leave your mic drops for us. We're going to get into what's trending coming up next with our guy, Marshy Marsh, on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals defeat the Tampa Bay Rays last night by a final score of 5-2. Eric Fetty picks up his first win as a Cardinal, and the Cards have a chance to go for the sweep tonight. Kyle Gibson on the mound going up against Shane Baz. First pitch is at 6:15. We have What's Trending coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, the White Sox have fired Pedro Grifol, and they have promoted Grady Sizemore as their interim manager. Bob Nightingale, however, tweeted out the White Sox next managerial hire will definitely be outside the organization, and Marlins manager Skip Schumacher certainly is a strong candidate, if not the leading candidate.
So help me understand this. Is Skip fired? Or is his contract over?
His
Because at one point the
contract
team
will
had
be
the
up.
well, at one point the team had the ability to pick up his next year.
Yeah, I don't believe that's going to happen.
Okay.
I think
So
that
we
they're
think Skip's
probably
just going to be
going
an
to part
outright
ways.
free agent.
I think so. But who knows? Who really knows, right?
Yeah.
I found it interesting though that
That's not gonna make
he
Lisa
can
happy.
No. And that's the first person I thought of when I saw that tweet from Bob Nightingale was Lisa, because
Yeah.
I know Lisa wants Skip to be the manager of your St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen
I don't know if that's going to
anytime
happen.
soon.
The Cardinals have a manager
They
under
do.
contract, so I don't see that happening.
I don't see that happen. And if I'm Skip Schumacher, I know this sounds crazy. I think I'm biding my time. Why would I go to what has been the biggest dumpster fire in Major League Baseball for a number of years now? Like they reached out. They had Tony La Russa go, or clearly Tony, the game had passed him by at that point. And listen, I know Cardinal Nation loves Tony La Russa. I do too. I know the man. He's a great man. I think the game had passed him by when he went to the Chicago White Sox. And then you hear about players that are sleeping in the bullpen, players that are in the clubhouse, not ready to play. They're being called up for an at-bat, and they're in the clubhouse doing something different, or they're on a phone call in the clubhouse. Like, Lance Lynn tells stories about how just dysfunctional it is with the White Sox. If you're Skip Schumacher and you've had one good season and you've had one terrible season as a manager, you haven't proven yourself yet.
Yeah.
So if he goes to the Chicago White Sox, which is a terrible team, and he gets pummeled for a season or two again, who's hiring that?
Yeah. So Skip it looks like he asked the Marlins to void the final year of his contract, so he would become a free agent after this season. He asked for that in April, and so he is a free agent after this year.
There's got to be a better job that'll be available than that one.
Is it? I mean,
The White Sox have terrible ownership.
the Marlins aren't
They have terrible players.
much better. Maybe you figure out how to clean house and fix something. I mean, you can start with Garrett Crochet. That's not a bad arm to start with. And Luis Robert,
Carey,
you got two pieces that you can.
They're 6 to 7
No, they
years.
stink.
They're 6 to 7 years before being even remotely good.
I was laughing in the
Skip
office.
ain't getting a 10-year deal.
I was laughing in the office because we talk so much about the Cardinals' terrible run differential, and then I looked at the White Sox, and it was minus 248.
Yeah.
I said, oh, my goodness. Like, it's really bad.
It's really
The Cardinals
bad.
are minus 44, I believe. I would lose my mind. Minus 248. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I don't know. If I'm Skip, maybe I wait till somebody else fires a manager, or...
Yeah, I would actually wait and see what the Red Sox and Alex Cora in that situation ends up becoming.
And there's,
if he's not going to,
Snitker
Brian Snitker.
next year being his last year. Maybe a good spot for Skip to maybe Skip calls them, gets on the staff, even as an advisor. I don't know. I wouldn't go to the White Sox.
Oh, goodness gracious, no. Right. Guys, Nick Foles is retiring.
What?
Hey.
An 11-year journey for Nick Foles, which included a stop here in St. Louis. Carey, were you doing Rams radio when he was a part of the team?
I believe so.
Do you have any cool stories about Nick Foles?
I don't recall.
I don't know if there are any.
Yeah, here's the thing about what you need to understand about Rams radio. In the early 2010s, 2015, 16, like it was not a lot to talk about. Like Anthony and I would sit there and watch those games. Mike Young, we would sit there and watch those games. Sometimes they would be playing out in California. It'd be late when we finally got on the air, and we'd have nothing to talk about for 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. What do you say when your team? It was a one game I remember. I think they rushed for like 0.7 yards a carry, and I was, what do you talk about? Like, how do you're not going to win that game?
No.
You're not going to win. They were terrible. They weren't good. It was a lot of bad ball. It was. So, no, I don't have any Nick Foles stories that I can recall. I just remember a lot of bad football. And we were surprised. They actually played the 49ers really well during that tenure. Played Seattle pretty well, I think, during that time. But all the other games, man, you felt bad for those guys. It was not good.
Also, pardon me, I mentioned Alex Cora. He did get an extension in late July, so we can toss them out. That's on me. So he is extended from 2025 to 2027. So Skip Schumacher will not be going there. So that is on me. Thank you for the text line for holding me accountable. Nick Foles, though, I mean, guy won a Super Bowl.
He did. Had a very
good congratulations to him.
Beat Jamie's favorite team.
Yeah.
Which he still, is bothered by. Philly Special will go down as one of the best plays in Super Bowl history. Catching a touchdown, like Super Bowl MVP. Like, he did a lot of great things. And made some
really
money.
bad, too.
Well, Jamie, it's a good day, and we're going to focus on the positive.
All right.
We're not going to.
I'm sorry.
We're not going to worry about. I mean, he was a Pro Bowler.
He had like 7 really good games.
No.
Is that how we're doing it?
No. His first year in Philly, or second year in Philly, he was really good. Like, really good. I think, was Chip
really
Kelly was the coach? I don't remember.
Are you
going to
say really good or just good?
No, he was
pretty damn good.
Really good.
I think that's why they brought him back for the second time.
Who was the head coach then? Chip Kelly. I think it was Chip Kelly's first year, or maybe his second year there. He had a really good season. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, Carey. He's a Hall of Famer. You're right.
Well, listen, if you tell me Joe Flacco is a Hall of Famer,
He will be. You just watch.
He will not.
When they show up and they bring him that gold jacket.
I disagree.
Carey, you said you wanted to keep things positive, right?
I did.
Well, the United States are losing 41-25 in the Olympic men's basketball semifinal to Serbia right now.
That's not great. The Serbians got a guy, I don't know if you heard him, call him Joker. He's pretty good. Probably
One guy can't beat the team, though. Carey, come on.
He's probably doing it right now.
One guy. You tell me one guy can beat Team USA.
Bogdanovich is on that team as well. He's another NBA guy.
So you tell me 2 guys.
Yeah. They're beating them as we speak.
Yeah.
He did kind of beat the entire NBA 2 years ago.
He did. Kind of.
Which is full of all the guys that are on the United States team.
Yeah.
That's a tough look. I just saw the update. It's 47-32 now.
Oh, jeez.
And
ESPN is behind.
Yeah, they're a little behind. Yeah. They just saw it on the...
just refreshed.
47-35.
There we go. 47-35. So the U.S. is making up some ground here, but they did this last game, too. Took them a while. Or the Puerto Rico game. They were down by like 7 points to Puerto Rico in the second. I was like, what the heck is going on? Then they blew the doors off them. So
Steph Curry is going off. He's 5 for 8 from 3. 17 points.
we'll need more than that.
Yeah, need some other people to step it up.
They will need more than that. All right, that was what's trending here in the Fast Lane. Let's not forget that tonight over at Helen Fitzgerald's is the final night of the Hot Ones Trivia. Hot Ones and Hot Wings Trivia Challenge, and that's going to be me hosting it tonight. Helen Fitzgerald, 6 to 8 p.m. Stella Artois, as we know, has partnered with Hot Ones to bring you this awesome event. Come by, check out the festivities. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time, especially at Helen Fitzgerald. It's great. They do it right. They get you up on stage. The teams are there. You can watch everybody. They got the microphone so you can hear everything properly. And then when the teams miss their questions, they've got to dip their wings in the hot sauces, and they get hotter each time you get one wrong. It really is kind of fun. And when you're just sitting there in attendance, it's a lot of fun. And we also have some attendance prizes available, and Stella Artois will be handing out free samples throughout the entire evening. It's going to be a lot of fun. So please, tonight from 6 to 8 p.m., join me at Helen Fitzgerald's. If you need more information at all, you can always check things out at 101ESPN.com. Let's get into some football. We come back here. Well, the Cowboys go into the season without paying their 3 best players. Not an ideal situation. We'll find out what Carey thinks when we come back here on 101 ESPN. Wrestling here, 101 ESPN. The NFL season right around the corner. Training camps are in full swing. We're watching teams get their guys out there. They're going through the reps. Some teams are fighting. They're getting fined $200,000 for their actions. All that. Boys will be boys.
Indeed.
But, Carey, there's one team in particular, a team that you like, by the way. You love them. Based on the way you talk about their quarterback, you love them.
I do love him.
But the Cowboys are going into this season, and they potentially could be going into the season without paying their three best players.
Yeah.
How does this happen?
Well,
Especially when you're the Cowboys?
your contracts align around the same time. So CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, and Micah Parsons. Now, CeeDee Lamb and Dak are both on the last year of their contract. CeeDee Lamb finishing up the final year of his rookie deal, and so he is scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent next year.
Okay.
If they don't re-sign him.
Who is?
CeeDee Lamb.
Well, you better lock that guy up.
You might want to do that. But your quarterback is also scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent next year if he doesn't resign. And so, for me, Micah Parsons still has another year left. I would probably not be in such a rush to re-sign him. They'll pick up his fifth-year option.
Is he in camp right now?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
He should be there. I don't think CeeDee Lamb is there. And Dak is there. But the issue, I almost think you have to start with Dak and see what you got left. Right? We talked about all of the quarterbacks.
Who do you think is more important to that club, CeeDee Lamb or Dak Prescott?
The quarterback is always more important.
You don't think you could replace him?
I don't think you can I do not.
You don't?
I think it's so hard to find, and I tell people this, there are 32 spots in the entire world where a person can do that job. And if we're being realistic, 16 of them are really good enough, and then maybe 10 can probably win you a Super Bowl. Dak is in that 10 to 12 range that could potentially win you a Super Bowl in the world. And so
you believe in Dak that much?
I believe in him.
Do you believe in Dak, or do you believe in the fact that it'd take too long to bring another quarterback?
I think it would take too long to bring another quarterback.
So you don't really believe in Dak?
I don't know if
you're just.
I like Dak, but I'm
Dak.
There you go. Right, that's what you got.
Okay.
You get what you get, and you don't have a fit. It's kind of like Marshy and Kirk Cousins. Like you deal with it because going elsewhere is probably going to reset the entire process to another 2, 3, maybe 5 years. So with Dak, I am looking at him and saying, I'm paying him. And I know it's probably going to be 50, 55, 60 million that he's going to get paid. Is he the best quarterback in the NFL? No. Is he the quarterback that is due to get paid right now? Yes.
So
and Jamie, that's all that matters.
It's so flawed, buddy.
That's all that matters. It's all that matters is whose turn is it? And you've seen the quarterbacks that have gotten paid over the last couple of years. Tua just got paid. Jordan Love just got paid. Before that, you saw Lamar get paid. You've seen these guys. Joe Burrow got paid.
I know.
Trevor Lawrence. Is he better than all of those guys? Is he better than Patrick Mahomes? No. But he's the next one up. And you can't be the Dallas Cowboys with the expectation of winning a Super Bowl every year, even though they haven't done it in 30. We're going on 30? Is it 30 years?
Oh, it's minimum.
29? 95 was the last year that
I was going to say, 2005, 2015, you're coming up on 30 years.
So, but the expectation every year, be it crazy as it can possibly be, is for them to be in the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. And so I don't think you start over with a rookie quarterback. We were talking about Shedeur Sanders the other day. I don't know if they're going to be bad enough to get a Shedeur Sanders. So how do you get them? You got to trade away some of the pieces that you have. If that was the case, Shedeur is probably going to be a number 1, number 2 pick. Top 5 for sure. If the Dallas Cowboys expect to make it to the Super Bowl, that means they're not going to be picking in the top 5, which means Shedeur won't be available. So you're going to have to pay Dak. There's no quarterback drafting at the 16 and on spot that you can have replace him right now. So you pay Dak. And then you probably find CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion, would probably be the odd man out because I'm paying my quarterback, and eventually I got to pay Micah Parsons. You pay your quarterbacks, and you pay guys that tackle quarterbacks. That is the order of things, in my opinion.
Really?
Yes.
So as good as CeeDee Lamb is,
Love
and
him.
some would argue that he's top 3 receivers in the NFL.
Love him.
Would you think he'd be top 3? You got Tyreek.
Justin Jefferson.
But it's Justin Jefferson better?
You got why am I forgetting his name from the Bengals?
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. So he's not top 3 in my opinion.
Okay.
You got Devo, you got Devontae Adams. So he's somewhere in the top 10.
We talking stats wise?
I'm talking who I would take. Yeah. Devontae Adams and he still had over 100 targets and I think over almost 100 catches. Devontae Adams still, I would take him. So top 10 receivers. Micah Parsons is a top 3 edge rusher. I'm not wasting my time with that. So I'm paying him. I gotta pay Dak because I don't have a choice. And if I got an odd man out, and I think that's what CeeDee Lamb knows. That's why he's sitting out. He knows if you got to pay 3 people, I'm probably third on that list looking at how it all works out. Am I third in importance? Probably not, but I am third on that list because of how quarterbacks get paid and how guys that tackle the quarterback get paid.
So how do the Cowboys figure this out? It feels like they're at an impasse.
They are. And so there's been talks that maybe they let Dak go into free agency. They're going to lose him because somebody's going to pay him $60 million a year if you're not willing to. And I think they structured it in his last contract that he can't be franchised. So he will be a true free agent, be able to walk out and go wherever he wants to go. There are some teams that are going to be in need of a quarterback always, and the Cowboys are going to lose out on that, which means even having Micah Parsons or a CeeDee Lamb, who's throwing them the ball? Where do you go from there if you don't have a quarterback, if you have to start over with a rookie? So I'm paying Dak. I'm probably paying Micah. Maybe I might wait till next year. I might wait on those two until the offseason on CD and Micah. But I'm paying Micah Parsons. And whatever I have left over for you, CeeDee Lamb, is what you're going to get. And we'll figure it out. And we're going to try to get everything done this year and do our best to win a Super Bowl or put ourselves in Super Bowl position this season.
What do you think the Cowboys are this year? Because I feel like this is a team that has been asked.
They're second in their division, in my opinion, behind the Eagles.
I feel like they have just perennially just been there. Like the Cowboys are fine. They're fine. They'll be a playoff team. The Cowboys, they're fine. But like, at what point do the Cowboys try to be more than fine?
I mean, I think they're trying to now. You got some good players. The offensive line has changed a little bit because some of those guys gotten older and gone. Smith is gone, so you've shifted that focus a little bit. It used to be Zeke was the guy that you were handing the ball off to. He looks like he's probably going to be. He might be starting again I don't know who they have in the backfield for them starting. So it's Dak's team. You don't let Dak walk out the door. You send him. You solidify what he is for the rest of his career. He should be a Cowboy lifer. He's not going to go anywhere. Maybe at the end of his career, when you have no need for him anymore, maybe he when his contract expires, you let him walk. But at that time, you're already positioning yourself to transition to a new quarterback. So,
do you think the Cowboys really think this year's the year? Like
they always think this year's the year.
But hear me out.
They have no choice.
But do they really feel that way knowing that Mike McCarthy is their head coach?
That's a very good question because he's one of those guys that you look at and say,
like, he's good.
Yeah.
But
he's also on the last year of his contract.
I also hear things through the media that say that after Mike McCarthy is done, if he doesn't win, he's out, and that Bill Belichick is the favorite to end up at the Cowboys. I look at Jerry Jones, who's a lot like a Robert Kraft. Old dude, tons of money, little crusty, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not afraid to do some things that ruffle feathers. I could see Jerry Jones bringing in Bill Belichick.
I think Mike McCarthy had a really ugly start to his tenure as a Dallas Cowboys head coach. It was some decisions
you're looking at. He can't get out of his own way,
you're like, what are you doing?
He can't get out of his own way, bro.
And if they were to, they're going to let him finish this year more than likely, unless they just get off to a terrible start. If they were going to move on and go in a different direction, they would have done it this offseason. They'd have reset some things and said, you know what, let's go in a different, because the person you're talking about was he was also was the favorite to land the Falcons job, and something went sideways at the end.
I didn't like where Robert Kraft picked up the phone and called Arthur Blank, and something happened there.
You don't want this guy?
Something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I just think that, with the Cowboys, you got to pay Dak. You have to. Your hands are tied. You don't have a choice. Because, again, it's so hard to find a quarterback that can even get you to the playoffs. And Dak is a guy that can get you to the playoffs. Can he win a Super Bowl? That has not been seen yet. But that it's not just all solely on him. I know you like to think Tom Brady did won all those 7 Super Bowls by himself.
A couple of them on his own.
He was by himself when he won. The defense didn't even play. He told those guys to sit on down.
The defense played great, but who ran the offense?
The quarterback.
Thank you.
And that's why you pay Dak.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
It's very intriguing for me because the NHL salary cap world is different than the NFL salary cap, and you got players who can restructure contracts and do all sorts of things. So it's always fun to talk about those things. CD, great job breaking that down. And we're going to have more of that, too, over the next couple of weeks, where we are going to break down divisions and what we think are winning teams and losing teams. But we'll also tackle different teams and dive a little bit behind the curtain to talk about some of the things that are going on. So make sure you're tuning in for that. What we do have coming up next, though, is a part 2 to our segment yesterday. And if you were listening yesterday, or you weren't, what we did is we put together our best 2024 Cardinals lineup. Coming down the stretch, who are your best guys that you should? What's the best lineup? Marshy put a poll out there on Twitter, and
he suppressed my vote. Sorry.
Carey, sometimes being gracious in defeat is important. The people that voted Marshy and our lineup over Carey Davis's lineup, which was clearly inferior. But doesn't matter. What? But now we're going to dive into the 2025 Cardinals fan-made lineup. Marshy has a lineup that has been fan-made, and we're going to talk about what we think is good, bad, or what we think could change. That's coming up next year on 101 ESPN. Fast Lane here, back with you on 101 ESPN. Marshy, you saw a fan-made lineup for the 2025 Cardinals, and you wanted to discuss yesterday. We didn't get there. We talked about this year's lineup, the most optimal lineup, which clearly we nailed that one, Marshy. But now, moving forward today, 2025 fan-made lineup. Tell me all about this.
Okay, so I saw this from a Twitter X user, Rhine Dog. So shout out to Rhine Dog wherever you're at. Maybe you're listening. Who knows?
Hi.
So what stood out to me about this fan-made lineup, and I'm sure there's a ton of other people out there that also have their own versions of what this lineup could look like. But the thing that stood out to me was the lack of Paul Goldschmidt and the lack of Nolan Arenado in this 2025 lineup. So I'll go through it, and this is not in terms of batting order by any means, but it goes by position. So I was thinking maybe we could put together a batting order if we wanted to do so. But your catcher would be Wilson Contreras, first baseman Alec Burleson, second baseman would be Brendan Donovan, shortstop is Mason Wynn. Third baseman.
So wait, this is just the
There's no order. No
orders.
lineup. It's just the positions.
Sorry,
Just the
Andrew,
positions.
start over because I was
Yeah.
trying to catch up to you in the batting order standpoint.
This would be an interesting batting order for sure if that was the case.
That's
but
why I was like, so 2025, go ahead. I won't interrupt you again.
yeah, so Wilson Contreras would be catching.
Okay.
First baseman, Alec Burleson. Second baseman, Brendan Donovan. Your shortstop is Mason Wynn. Third baseman, not Nolan Arenado, but Thomas Saggese.
Oh, boy. Okay.
We're bringing him up. Left field is Lars Nootbaar. Center field is Michael Ciani / Victor Scott. Your right fielder is Jordan Walker. And your DH is Nolan Gorman.
I find this very interesting because if Nolan Arenado is not in your 2025 lineup, that means you traded him. Mm-hmm. And that means maybe you got something back in terms of pitching. Hit your knee, huh?
Yeah, that
hurts
felt
like
great.
hell. I know. Done it plenty of times. And so I find that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Saggese obviously is a guy that he was minor league player of the month. Was it for July? Has been doing a really good job.
He's been good. Very good.
We're waiting to see Jordan Walker, who has been extremely hot in the month of August so far. I like it. I actually am not opposed to it at all. Maybe it depending on what you have with Nootbaar. How is he hitting? How is he performing? Mm-hmm. You know, what level is he at that moment?
Is he healthy?
Is he healthy? Where else would you turn if it's not him? I mean, but I'm actually okay with this lineup. With this not the lineup, but the players that they have at these positions.
Yeah.
What's your problem, Jamie?
I don't know what Jordan Walker is, so it's tough for me to just anoint him right field.
We're projecting for.
I understand we're projecting, but if you're going to project, you have to take all of the numbers that you have available to you, all the video, and you project accordingly. And right now, Jordan Walker doesn't project based off of things to being a starting right fielder for the Cardinals next year. Does he project to be a fourth outfielder? Maybe, but is that really what you want to do with him?
No, I think what the Cardinals have needed to see is what they're seeing right now in August so far.
If he can keep doing it,
if he continues it,
if it drops again, then what?
I think next year he's your everyday right fielder to start the season, regardless, because you can't afford to have another season of him, just dwindling away in the minors. You projected him to be a great player for this organization. You have to give him another opportunity. He did really well his rookie year. His second year wasn't hitting the ball and was swinging and missing a lot. Mm-hmm. His third year, I think going into spring training, he's projected as your starting right fielder and probably batting somewhere, fifth or sixth in the lineup. Not seventh, eighth, or ninth as he's batted this season and sometimes last season, fifth or sixth, especially if you have a lineup that does not have Goldie or Arenado in it.
Also, if I'm being honest, I don't see the lineup. I don't see a lineup without Nolan Arenado in it next year. I just don't.
I could agree with that.
I don't see Saggese taking third base from him, but what I could see is a Gorman DH and a Donovan Saggese platoon at second base. So you could use Donnie in the outfield still, again, from time to time. Sajasi, obviously, he gets a lot of bat on ball, so he could be a good guy in your lineup. But are you ready to platoon a 22-year-old?
What if you got Nolan Gorman in the DH role, and we've seen how that has kind of been up and down this season. What if that spot is a Nolan Arenado or a Thomas Sajasi or
I don't
someone
see
of
the
that?
Cardinals using a young player as a DH.
Okay, well then it's a Nolan Arenado as a DH.
That's fine.
And you put Thomas Sajasi at third.
But here's the problem with that for me is I don't know what Arenado is going to do at the plate. I do know that third
But you
base.
know he's going to be on the roster?
But I do know that when he plays third base, he still gives me plus defense.
Jamie, shame on you.
No, shame on you, Carey.
Shame on you. We had a whole argument in the office 2 days ago about his lack of effort on a ball to third base. And
we had it on air.
You're not letting me finish.
Go ahead.
At least let me finish.
At least let Jamie
I don't want to let you
You might
finish.
like it.
I don't. Nah.
What does I have to say? You
Okay, go ahead.
You might like it. So all I'm saying is that Nolan Arenado, yes, he had the play the other night where he looked like he gave up on it. But he's still a plus defensive third baseman. Sajasi, we don't know what he is at third baseman at the major league level.
Okay.
So it's tough for me to say, okay, Nolan Arenado is going to be the DH, and we're just going to put a kid who's never played third base in the majors, and he's going to take over for our platinum glove winning, gold gloving, defending type player. Yes, this year hasn't been that way.
Last year either.
Last year was still better than this year.
Okay.
But we're looking at it, and you got this guy under contract anyways, and you better believe that heading into spring training, Nolan Arenado is your starting third baseman. He just is. Unless he requests a trade in the offseason. Under no circumstance do I see the Cardinals approaching Nolan Arenado and telling him they're trading him or they're DFAing him or whatever the heck you want to call it. Whatever route you have for Nolan Arenado off of the roster, the Cardinals are not doing that. So it would have to be player initiated. And maybe Arenado just says, I've had enough of Cardinal Nation. I shouldn't word it that way. Maybe I've had enough of underperforming. It's not going well now. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. I'd like to be traded. I don't say he's had enough of Cardinal Nation because everything that I've heard is that he loves the people here, loves the fans. So I don't want it to sound like that. And maybe he says, I'll accept a trade to the Dodgers or the Yankees. Okay. Who knows? So then a lot of things open up. But unless it's player initiated, I don't see the Cardinals sitting him down and saying, by the way, we're getting rid of you.
I don't see that either. But like I said, if there was a trade, because based on this 2025 roster, obviously he's not on the team. If there is a trade to another team and he accepted said trade or was willing to do that, you probably got some pitching in return, which helps your roster, helps your team, helps you win more games for 2025.
So here's a thought too. What if you put Gorman at third base? If we're really doing away with Nolan Arenado as a Cardinal, Gorman was drafted as a third baseman. So was Jordan Walker, for that matter. Okay, so maybe that opens up the door for a Nolan Gorman or even a Jordan Walker to play third base.
Okay,
maybe, right? And then if that's the case, let's just say it's Gorman at third, so you get everyday use out of him. Walker stays in right field. Now you could have, you can still have Sajasi somewhere in there platooning. I don't know if Sajasi plays the outfield. I don't believe he does, although he hasn't played yet for the Cardinals at the major league level. Once he does, he probably will play the outfield, and he's probably going to be really good at the outfield. That's just the way that things seem to go here. You got the Tommy Edman, you got the Donovan, you got all these other Michael Cianis that came out of kind of nowhere.
We got a text from the 870. You tell me that lineup you just read is to the fans is any better than the Chicago White Sox. Come on, bro. It's what's different than other than Goldie and Arenado not being in this lineup. What's different?
So my question to you guys, that I didn't get to yet is, do you see a team next year that could have room for Tommy Pham?
On this team as a starter?
No, even as a fourth outfielder with the anticipation of him competing for a spot.
We talked about that as well. I mean, if
I got some numbers.
It depends on. I don't know. There's probably a spot for him on this roster as a fourth outfielder.
So since July 30th, Tommy Pham ranks among major league leaders in batting. He's 379 for fifth. Slug, 759 for second. OPS, 1159 for second. Hits, 11, tied for fourth. RBI, he's third. Extra base hits, third. And total bases, 22. That puts him third. Now, that is a torrid pace that he's on right now.
That he probably won't sustain.
And I'm not even insinuating that, okay? But what I'm saying is, based on what we've seen from Tommy Pham, and if you could get him at a reasonable price, why would you not bring him back as your security blanket in the outfield? And he's a bat off the bench.
Right.
He can DH a game or two. Maybe it's something like that.
I don't disagree with that.
I think the two biggest takeaways from this, in my opinion, are that the fan base or the fan lineup is moving on from both Goldie and Arenado.
Well, and I think however we look at this in 2025, Siani or Scott is your starting center fielder, and Jordan Walker is your starting right fielder, and left field is TBD. Because I think people love Newt, but again, Marshy said it. Is he healthy? Let's start there. Is he performing? I think those are two questions that
He's
always
underwhelming
have
this
to
year.
ask.
I feel
about Lars
completely
Nootbaar.
underwhelmed.
There you go.
With what Lars Nootbaar is doing. I could be wrong. Maybe you guys feel differently. But even since the hype train hit, I haven't found that the product has matched the hype.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
100%.
He played really well to get his name on the map. Then he played really well at the WBC, and he's at the Pepper Grinders and all this stuff and going crazy, and everybody's at Newt Mania. Well, since Newt Mania hit, it really hasn't been any Newt production.
I don't disagree.
So
It's been fine.
it's been fine.
It's been fine.
know.
I think with this lineup, though, it just, and maybe you're getting that now. Obviously, you probably are, but the lack of pop that jumps off that jumps off the paper, like
With
Contreras, you know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
Burleson, perhaps he can continue to hit home runs. Donovan's not really a home run hitter. Wynn could be.
He's not.
But he's not.
You don't want him to be a home run hitter.
So JC hasn't even played a game at the bigs yet. Nootbaar's fine. Siani Scott, not. Walker.
Who knows?
Essentially, what
Could
I
be.
said, what's the difference from this year? There's no
That's true.
pop in the lineup
Yeah, but there's
this year.
There's no pop, but there's still the potential of pop, right?
got potential with Gorman.
Goldie still can run into one. He's third on the team in home runs. Arenado, who knows what happens there? But you got Tommy
You know
Pham.
what happens there.
I know it's. I'm very perplexed as to the drop off. I really am. I'm very perplexed. So either way, Cardinals got their hands full for the rest of this year, and obviously looking at the roster for next year. John Mozeliak, Chaim Bloom, Michael Gersh, they have a lot of work to do as well. Okay, it's that time of the day. We're going to get to the Sports Six-Pack, so if you have any questions at all, shoot them in to 314-399-9646, or you can jump on the Air Alliance YouTube channel, the Snake Pit, as we call it. Put a couple of questions in there. Marshy's always perusing the Snake Pit, so he'll grab those. And we'll get into the Sports Six-Pack when we come back here on 101 ESPN. Wrestling here on 101 ESPN. Time for the Sports Six-Pack. Okay. Well, Sports Six-Pack will get bumped to 3:30 here. We got the lineup to play. All right, we just went through our fictitious 2025 lineup. The Cardinals tonight are playing against the Tampa Bay Rays. Old Boz is on the bump. He's a right-handed pitcher. Carey.
Yeah.
Who's batting lead?
Show us Mason Wynn.
I'm watching the Futures game, and this thing's all over Instagram. It's like, this guy threw a ball 100 across the time. That's awesome, but, like, how many throwing errors does he have?
Shut up!
Okay, so yesterday, this was Contreras, I believe, because it was an LHP on the bump.
Yeah, you know me.
That's right. Or, no, it was Ray.
It was Burley.
It was
yesterday.
Burley. I must say, after the day that Burley had, with his new walk-up song, by the way, Randy Orton's walk-up song is now Alec Burleson's walk-up song.
Nice.
So for me, this has to be Burley. Show me Burleson.
You know, kind of closed my eyes and swung at it and did what I wanted to do.
Burley to the rescue!
Now, this was Contreras yesterday. I don't see them changing that.
Let's do it. Show us Wilson Contreras.
DH.
No.
Catches mid. Check.
Boz is a righty, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was
So hang on. This was
Donovan yesterday.
This was Donovan yesterday.
They run it back. Well, Goldie is playing more than likely today. He's not
Yeah.
going to have 2 days off.
Do you see Goldie batting cleanup against another right-handed
In
pitcher?
my lineup yesterday, that's what I had. You all said it was foolish.
It was foolish.
Ridiculous.
Which is why he didn't even play yesterday.
Show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Oh, Carey!
No.
I took a chance. Took a shot.
No, what you did is you stepped outside the team and made it about you.
I did.
You
Sorry.
know better than that.
I did. It works for Anthony.
No, it doesn't.
It does,
No,
all the
go
time.
back over the years. Trust me.
It's worked well for him this year.
All right.
Who you got?
I don't know yet. This is what's called talking.
You think it's Tommy Pham?
I would love it to be. I don't think it is, though. Against a
You think
right-handed pitcher?
I don't think he's playing again.
There's no
Which
way.
would fire
There's
you
no
up.
way he's
Even
not
you
playing.
might run your head into this here table.
I'm going to take my head and run it right into Ollie.
You gonna headbutt him?
Yeah, I'm going to headbutt him. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take his hand, and I'm going to headbutt his fist as hard as I can. So he knows. If I can do that, I got lots of other things.
Oh, man.
All right.
You want to go Donnie again? It's not Goldie, clearly. My apologies for that, Jamie.
Show us Brendan Donovan.
You're wrong.
I didn't think it was him either.
Well, then why'd you say it? Then why'd you say it? Why you gonna-
That's why I went with Goldie.
You want to go Donnie here?
I asked.
I knew it wasn't.
Well, I went with Goldie. I
No,
thought
you
it was
just
him.
blurted it out. You didn't talk. I didn't say. Do
You blurted it out.
No,
I
I
asked
didn't.
you. Do you? And you said Donnie.
Donnie,
Are you
yeah,
that
but
easily
don't-
convinced?
It's
Yes.
no.
Yes.
But I like to trust my teammates.
You didn't trust me when I went with Goldie.
You went rogue.
I did.
That's not trustworthy.
twice.
It's not trustworthy.
Well, who do you think it is, Jamie? You said you didn't know. I gave
don't
you an
know.
option. You think it's Tommy Pham?
I hope it's Tommy Pham.
You want to do that one? You want me to do it?
No, I'll do it.
All right, you go ahead, because you think it's right.
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Show us Tommy Pham.
What a shame.
Janet, you know what? I'm sick of you too. Go ahead. Go with the guy.
Who?
You know who.
Nolan Arenado? Show us. Nolan Arenado.
He's a Gold Glove
Yep,
winner
there it
and
is.
perennial All-Star.
Oh, listen to Mr. Gold Glove over here.
Come on.
Unreal.
Well,
Guy
he
gets
did have
one hit.
two.
He's batting
He had
cleanup
two.
now. What?
Yeah, two. 2 hits and 2
one good
RBI.
one.
They don't care how they, how many.
Should. All right. Is this Goldie here at 5?
Who was it yesterday?
Well, we got
yesterday. Oh, it was Arenado yesterday. I don't think I would say Goldie at 6.
Okay. Is this Tommy Pham?
Let's do
Is
this.
this Gorman?
Let's do that.
Do which one?
No, Gorman will not
Carey,
bet
it's for the
anything higher
purpose
than 8.
of conversation.
No, I
Don't
but we
take
can-
it personal.
I'm not taking it personal.
You did a little bit.
Well, I just don't believe Gorman is going to bat anything higher
That's
than 8.
all we needed to hear. Okay.
That from here on, from henceforth.
All right.
Tommy Pham?
Go for it.
Show us, Tommy fam.
Sorry, guys.
I didn't feel it. I didn't.
You know what? I'm done with
I
you.
didn't feel it.
I'm done with you today.
I didn't feel it. I don't
Tommy
think
Pham. Yeah, I didn't feel it.
I don't think Tommy Pham is playing today. I've said
make
that
sure
a
you
couple
feel
of
it
times.
next time,
All right,
Carey.
come on, bring it on.
Yeah.
You make your hand punch my face or your fist punch my head.
No, I like the first version better. And who said that that's what I was going to do?
Well, you reminded me of Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm going to do.
I actually don't ever know what you're going to do or say.
I don't either. Don't worry about it. Okay, we're all over the place here right now. This is terrible.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Go ahead. Wait.
It might. I
Do
think
you
it
actually
might,
believe
I think
it?
it might be Paul Goldschmidt.
Because if you don't, you're just going to be like, I knew it
well, hold
wasn't
on.
him.
No, actually, I feel
Show
like
us Paul Goldschmidt.
What the H is wrong with you guys?
Now you went rogue.
I did. I did it on purpose, too. Okay.
Lars Newbar. Lars Newbar.
Or Donovan.
Oh, maybe Donnie. Maybe Donnie here. I do like
But you
Donnie
gotta
here.
believe it.
I do
If
like
I'm
Donnie.
gonna
I like Donnie here.
Okay. Show us Brendan Donovan.
Donnie.
This
Headband's pretty cool.
See, Jamie, when we get on the same page, things work better.
I know. It does.
I think this is Paul Goldschmidt here.
Okay.
Okay?
Would you like to
I
do
think it is.
Why don't you do it?
Okay, show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold!
There we go.
Rich with gold. Gold!
Okay, so now we have to determine, is Contreras catching?
I think he's catching.
I think he is. Against a
Okay.
right-handed pitcher, I don't think Pages is in there.
So,
So we have first base, third base, second base.
who's at second base?
Well,
I think
don't know.
Donnie is in left
or
field.
Gorman. So is a 7-hole Gorman or Newt?
Let's go Newt. I like Newt here.
I like Newt in the 7-hole, too.
Go ahead.
Show us that Newt.
What makes you think she's a witch? Well, she turned me into a newt. A newt. Got
Okay.
better.
So I think Gorman here at 8.
And then
I told you I don't think
Siani?
Pham is playing. And
Or
then
then
Scott.
not Siani, Scott.
Yeah.
Tommy Pham not in the lineup.
I don't think he's playing.
Can you the
He
numbers
was
I
brought
just
here.
told you?
I get it.
Carey, the numbers I just gave you,
I
and
get it.
Tommy Pham is
I
going to
get
sit
it.
2 games in a row.
But he was brought here to face left-handed pitching and to be a bat off of the bench.
Well,
that's
he's
why
gonna
he was
be a
brought
bat
here.
upside someone's head. So
Well,
watch.
Jamie, then if he does that, he'll be looking for a new job.
No, maybe there'll be injured players and then he can play.
I think they'll fire him if he does that. You ever hit somebody with a stick? You probably have.
I have.
I'm sure.
I hit a guy so hard in training camp one time. He was my competition. He passed the puck, Carey. It was like 4, 5, 6, and I hit him. I drilled him. Put him out of training camp. Secured my spot.
Got to do what you do, baby.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
Okay, so Gorman here.
I like Gorman here.
Show us the popcorn guy, please.
Get your fresh organic popcorn.
Get your popcorn ready.
Okay, I'll let you have the final one.
Show us Victor Scott II.
Great Scott.
Too fast, too fast.
Focus. Speed. I am speed.
All right, we mucked that one up. But here, Carey, that just goes to show you the middle of the lineup, how poor
We
it
don't
is
know.
that we have absolutely no idea who the hell's playing.
Never know.
Marshy, run it for us, please.
All right, leading off the shortstop, Mason Wynn, batting second, playing. Well, he's not playing DH. He is the DH. That is Alec Burleson. Batting third, catching Wilson Contreras. Your cleanup hitter, third baseman, Nolan Arenado. Batting fifth in left field, Brendan Donovan. Batting sixth, first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. Batting seventh in right field, Lars Taylor Tatsui Nukbar. Batting eighth, second baseman, Nolan Gorman. And batting ninth in center field, Victor Scott II.
Go fair, go foul!
I don't believe what I just saw. Home run.
All right, Marshy, you still have the lead by like 8, I think. So you're up.
All right, so I think it'd be disingenuous if I went back to Tommy Pham again, just because if he did hit a home run, it wouldn't be as cool. So I'm not going to pick him today. I am going to pick Alec Burleson, who, I mean, I think he has these voices in his head, Carey.
Okay.
You know, they're telling him bat to ball skills. Let's
Getting it
see it
together.
tonight.
All right.
Home run. Alec Burleson, the Viper.
Okay.
All right, me? I am going to go to Tommy Pham.
I knew one of you would.
I think Tommy Pham comes off the bench, 3 shades of pissed off, and takes one right to Big Mac land.
You know what? I'm going to go chalk. Give me Goldie.
Sorry.
That was ridiculous.
I've got gas. My
He's
bad.
third on the team. You said it earlier.
Hit the ball hard recently.
All right, Anthony has his pick. He is going with Nolan Gorman.
All right, there you have the home run game, the lineup. Again, first pitch tonight, I believe, 6:15. Your Cardinals against the Tampa Bay Rays. We'll see how that works out. All right, we teased the sports six-pack earlier. We're going to go right there next. Again, that's 314-399-9646. Get your questions in now, and we'll go over that when we come back here on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals picked up a 5-2 victory last night against the Tampa Bay Rays. They'll go for the sweep tonight. Kyle Gibson on the mound going up against Shane Baz. First pitch is at 6:15. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so if you have a question you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Perhaps you want to ask a question about the United States men's basketball team as they are trailing 84-82 in the fourth quarter against Serbia. We'll keep you updated on that one if you want those updates. But like I said, we have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I have a question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, it is time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane at 101 ESPN. For update purposes, Team USA has just tied up the basketball game against Serbia with under 5 minutes to play in the fourth. We'll try our best to keep you updated.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Question number one.
I like this question from the 618. A buddy and I have done a sports podcast in the past, but it's been a few years because life got busy. My question is, how do you guys stay energized to talk centralized sports every day, other than it being your job? It's got to be a drag sometimes with the repetitiveness, because what really changes day to day?
So for me, it has nothing to do with the content. It has nothing to do with the content. I enjoy talking Blues hockey, Cardinals baseball, NFL, all the things that we do talk about, I enjoy. At times, the content for us, even as broadcasters, can become slightly monotonous. Mm-hmm. But what energizes me every day is two things. One, I love being here with you guys. I do. Coming to work with Carey, with Andrew, with Anthony, and the chemistry that we have as a show and as friends, it's just fun. It is just fun. Yep. I have a great time. We laugh. We say stupid stuff. We do stupid stuff. We get after each other. And every day when I come here and the whole gang is here, it energizes me to get going. The second thing is I always strive to be the best at whatever I'm doing. I want to be the best. And so if I show up and I have a wah day, I'm not the best that day. Right. I'm not helping this show be the best that it can be. So I'm always like, you know what? Pull up your socks, big boy.
Yeah. For me, it's. I think we do a good job of finding content that does, gauge our interest. We talk about what, and then we have. Not heated, but we have debates in the office, and we say save it. You'll say save it because we want to put it on air because we have different opinions about something. So I think, obviously, and it's not created, it's not fake. Mm-hmm. It's not, like some of the things you see on TV where people are just saying obnoxious things just to get a rise out of the other person. I didn't say any names, Skip.
Random.
But you get some people that Skip. You get people that say certain things just to get a response. I think when we speak about things, we truly believe it, and there are different opinions which allow us to have debate on air. So I think that obviously helps. And again, we do love, watching sports and talking about sports, the things that we are engaged in. I am a lifelong Cardinal fan. I told you on my first hockey game, watching Brett Hall with the golden hair. I'm like, I've never seen a guy with cool. I've never seen that in my life. What is this? So, we enjoy what we talk about, but we have different topics that kind of get us going, and we have fun doing it.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys just said. And from the repetitive standpoint, obviously things do get a little bit repetitive, but that's why, when I look for stuff, I want to know, what are the fans talking about? What are the fans thinking? We just had a segment about a fan-made 2025 lineup. Like, the people that are consuming our content, like, what are they thinking? We want to talk about that. We want to bring them into the discussion because at the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. We're all watching the same thing. Everybody has an opinion, and we want to talk about that. And so finding different ways to entertain the listener, I think, keeps us energized because it keeps our brains, moving. And we want to find different ways to either be funny or to be try to be smart. Who knows?
It has happened.
It has happened before.
We say some intelligent things here.
Yeah.
We do.
And then we say some things that we're like,
Do you ever want to take back?
Yesterday.
Did you? Why? I liked it.
It's not a good look, but we weren't alone. We were not alone.
Oh, with...
oh, yeah.
I see. I don't ever want to take back.
You don't want to kill people off.
I didn't kill him. He was already dead.
He's a
guy,
yeah. It's a different one.
Yeah, but,
Different name. Same name, different person.
More than one made that
Hey,
mistake.
you know what?
This
Other
is
people
true.
do it.
They do.
Sometimes the national people do it too.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I don't know why. I never want to take back. Even if I'm completely wrong, say something stupid, I feel like it's part of the show. Like it's just part of what we do here.
It is hilarious.
Question number 2.
From the 314, what are your guys' concerns about Brady Cook this season?
I mean, I think you're always going to have to be concerned about staying healthy, and that's the key component to having a successful season. And I think he got banged up a little bit towards the end last year. I would honestly say the running game, because Cody Schrader helped that offense immensely. Because that young man, I say this, and I've watched a lot of football in my life. The game against Tennessee, that young man did not take a play off until the starters were out with like a minute and 45, 2 minutes left in the game. He played every single snap, every pass protection, every pass caught, every run. So if I'm looking at one thing that, the Missouri Tigers, that could be of a concern for me, for Brady Cook, because the best thing for a quarterback is a run game and a pass, somebody that can catch passes over the middle. How well do they run the ball with Cody Schrader not being there? That would be the one thing that I would look at and wonder if that impacts Brady Cook at all this season.
Question number 3.
From the 314, and guys, we are always up for changing rules, apparently, here in the Fast Lane. From the 314, is there any value in changing the home run game points to like 5 points for picking an 8 or 9 in the batting order, 4 for 6 or 7 to add some risk reward for Gorman batting 8th?
Yeah, so I don't hate the idea, except for then you'll end up with guys just picking... once you're out of it, you'll just start picking the 7, 8, 9 point, 10 point, like game after game after game.
It's going to happen here shortly. I'm going to be
which is fine.
Drafting a guy off the bench every game here in a minute.
But that literally works against you.
Yeah,
because the odds of that happening, right? So I like the tiers that we have right now. We've got 1, 2, 3. And then we've got the 10 points off the bench, right?
Yeah.
I think those are the only criteria we have.
Yep.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think Marshy hit a 10-pointer. Look what it did for him.
Put him in the lead.
Yeah.
Way in the lead.
And how often does that happen, too?
Not often. I
That's
almost
why it
got
was so
one.
cool.
I thought no, Matt Carpenter struck out. Did he strike out or did he?
No, he did get out, but
I
we
think,
were all in our
we
group
were all
chat.
like,
He took the warning track. Except for
Yeah.
Anthony. He's like, I hope you lose.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. Well, that's the Sports 3-pack. We are going to continue this when we come back after the break. Team USA up 91-86 right now, under 2 minutes to play in that semifinal game. All right, we'll continue this. We come back on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Welcome back here into the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're going to continue the Sports Six-Pack.
Question number 4.
All right, so we got a text from the 573. This is for us. Your off days on the very rare occasion can create some of the funniest moments. Like our memorial was a prime example. The 573 also goes into Action Jackson Burkett's ESPN updates, which are also hilarious, according to the 573. The question is, when you guys do have like a flop or whatever, or like a brain fart, much like I did earlier today with the Alex Cora situation, how do you respond in that moment? Do you usually self-deprecate or like how do you take it internally? Do you beat yourself up about it?
I don't beat myself up at all. I just admit wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have beaten myself up.
Okay.
Over other things, Carey. Different situations, of course. But when we make mistakes here, when I make mistakes on the air, I just own it immediately.
I do, yeah.
For me, I screwed up.
I mean, you do a job where people are listening. We're talking for 4 hours a day. We're going to say names incorrectly sometimes. You're going to get a stat wrong or say something. I think people assume that we know all and everything, and we should never make a mistake. And it happens. You misspeak. You say something that is, not incorrect. That is incorrect. And so you say, okay, yeah, that was wrong. Here. Mm-hmm. And you move on, because if you worry about it, it's like a game. It's like, you make a bad pass, a turnover in your own zone, and they score. If you're thinking about that, it's going to be a long day, isn't it? You're going to be worried. Yeah, you're going to be on your mind for the rest of.
Got to park it and move on.
Yeah, you deflect one in, and Grant Fuhrer's your future Hall of Fame goalie. You get over it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
you have to.
Same thing for me. I drop a pass, I miss a block. Ben, sorry about that, buddy. Get up. You okay? Didn't smoke you too bad, did he? All right, let's get him the next one. It is what it is. You just move on.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. And that's one thing I will say, that coming into radio, like the first week or so, I felt like it had to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Because, you worry about saying the wrong thing. You worry about being wrong on things. And then, they put Anthony and I together, and we started to have some fun, and we did some stupid stuff. We got things wrong. We both just started to own it, self-deprecate a little bit, and move on. I think the people who listen understand that people make mistakes or they goof up, and it happens. I think it's more human nature to just have somebody own it, mm-hmm. rather than try to fake it, come up with some kind of an excuse and treat me like I'm dumb at that point when they know what they heard. So just own it, man.
Question number 5.
From the 618, out of all the free agent bats available next year or potentially for trade, who do you think the Cardinals are most likely to sign if we part with Goldschmidt?
Like, as a player? What's Pete Alonso's contract situation? I hear his name all the time. I just don't see the Cardinals spending that kind of money.
Going in that direction.
Hey, how old is Pete Alonso?
Pete Alonso, the 2025 seasonal age, he'll be 30.
Okay.
Not terrible.
Is he under contract?
No, he'll be a free agent.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You got Cody Bellinger.
But no, let's talk Pete Alonso for a second.
Go ahead. I was going to run some names down for you.
Do you think Goldie makes 26, 27 this year?
Goldie is making 26 this year.
26 this year. Do you think Pete Alonso comes in wanting to make more than 26?
Would 20 feel okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I would too, but I'm just wondering what Pete Alonso's, like, what the market is for Pete Alonso.
I don't know what his
because he's 30, not 37.
Value, or what his expected contract would be for next year.
And that's a right-handed bat with pop. Mm-hmm. He's a total dork, but that's okay.
He'd be your
that's
dork.
why I don't want him. I don't.
No, see,
I think
here's
he's too big of a dork.
No, when he's on your team,
on my teams, and
when he's on your team, it changes. Uh-huh. Like your perception of a player when they're in a different uniform, you're like, I hate this guy. This guy is an idiot. He's terrible. Then when he gets on your team, you're like, I love this guy.
Yeah, he's a bit goofy.
Quirky. This is funny.
He goes from being a dork to quirky.
Or he's still
But he'll be your dork.
Right, but then I don't have to like the guy, though. What if he doesn't produce?
If he hits 35 home runs, Marsha, you will love him.
Yeah, you won't care.
And so will the Cardinal fans. They will forget about the big, strong guy comment and Stubby Clapp and him.
Well, and if he steps out of line, we know Stubby's there.
He's right there.
That's true. Yeah,
So,
you make a great point.
Now,
I would kick the tires on Pete Alonso because you're losing your first baseman. Pete would be an unbelievable replacement, and you're getting a 30-year-old as opposed to a 37-year-old. That's a 7-year bank that you've got right there.
their Spotrac is it Spotrac or Spotrac? I call it Spotrac. Either way, they're listing his market value at $32.9 million.
All right, so he's not going to be a Cardinal. Okay. Who's the cheapest player available then?
$263 million is what they.
8 years?
Yeah.
Cardinals won't give him 8 years.
I don't think he's signing anywhere for less than 8.
Yeah.
8 years.
I'd give him 8.
And he'll be 39 when he's done.
No, he'll be 38. 30 when he starts.
When is his birthday?
Right? I thought you said he'd be 30 when the season starts.
Yeah, it's 2025 seasonal year.
He'd be 38. Goldie's 37, so, I mean, the drop-off may not...
that's going.
Yeah, but Pete Alonso might be different.
He's a big, strong guy.
He's a big, strong guy. Look at Nelson Cruz was hitting dingers till he was 42 years old.
No, Pete Alonso will be 30. Yeah, he'll be 30 to start the season next year.
Yeah, so 38.
38. That's what you said. I don't listen well, Jamie. We've been over this.
Just feels like you doubt me.
You gotta be perfect!
It feels like you doubt me. I think that's what hurts. That hurts more.
We talked about this, guys.
Marshy, doesn't it hurt more when you feel like he doubts you?
I was busy reading and not listening.
Oh, well, that explains it. Keep going, Marshy.
Question number 6.
All right, we got a question from the 618. My question is, what do I need to do to get into sports broadcasting? I love talking sports, and it would be my dream job to do it for my job. Thanks, guys.
Well, Marshy, great question. I'm glad you asked. Andrew, what you have to do is, when that's done, you just have to make sure that whatever sport you played is something popular on the radio, and then they just give you a job.
Oh, I don't think that helps. I will give you some solid advice. I would tell you, take any opportunity that comes up online if you can find something. Whether it, I know, Marsha, you call games that is for Maryville.
Yep.
Like, take opportunities to call games for whether it's high school. I started calling games for Charter with Randy Carricker. He was the play-by-play. I was the color analyst for Charter high school games. Take opportunities to do that. Then, whatever is available, don't turn it down. Don't think you're bigger than or not. That's not good enough for you. As much information, as much tape as you can get, and your voice out there calling games or doing broadcasts, do a podcast. I mean, find different avenues. There are a lot of things that you can, a lot of different ways where you can get your voice out there and have people listening and hearing you.
So I think the podcast one is great, especially when you have the video component.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then you're not just talking, you're also aware that you're visible. And so that's kind of like being on TV. And at that point, now you're getting reps while being on the camera. You're getting reps just talking, being more comfortable in your opinions and your delivery and, your style of being a broadcaster or a host of a show. And to your point, CD, you just take everything that's available. When I was getting into the TV side of things, Fox Sports Midwest, they were like, hey, you're in the bullpen. And basically, here's how it works. When we need you, we'll call you. If you're not available, we'll pick somebody else.
Yep.
So there were times where I wasn't available.
Yeah.
And I made myself available.
Yep.
There was time I was in Chicago coaching my boys. They were playing a hockey game.
Yeah.
We played at like 4 o'clock, whatever. And I drove all the way back the next morning to do the Blues game.
Right.
It was an afternoon game. And then right after the game, drove all the way back to Chicago to coach the last game of the thing. But never said anything to the people at Fox Sports.
Right.
Didn't say, I'm doing this. Just, no.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Yep.
Well, like me, I went to school not to become a radio guy. Like I did it to be play-by-play, which is completely different than being in radio.
Right.
I mean, Jamie, you both can attest to that. They're like two separate things. I started a podcast, which, Jamie, you were actually on my podcast, a college hockey podcast, which then gave me the opportunity to get reps in, talk with people, and conduct interviews and do all that stuff, which ultimately, I guess, translated into this job. So, yeah, it's all about reps.
All right, that's the sports six-pack. We do need a Gauntlet contestant, do we not?
No, Cade beat me yesterday.
Right.
I know.
Oh, that's right. So we got a returning Gauntlet contestant, and he will match up against either Carey and I when we come back here on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers back with you here, joined by my good buddy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. And Stewie, a hot topic that I get all the time from people is refinancing. When should I refinance? How should I do it? Can you tell us a little bit more about the refinancing situation?
Jamie, a lot of people are saying, should I wait, not wait? We just took an ESPN listener. They were paying PMI. Their rate got reduced. The PMI got eliminated. No appraisal was required, saving $245 a month on the payment. No closing costs at all. Now, once you're a client of ours, we will call you when the rates go down. So all these customers that just refinanced today are customers that were our previous customers of ours that we actually contact you. It's easy. It's convenient. There's no closing costs with the bagel loan. Save money now. Further down the road, rates go down again. We'll do it again. As long as it doesn't cost you a dime, you're way ahead of the game.
That's great advice from my guy, Stewie. And if you have any other questions regarding debt consolidation or how the market is turning or the Federal Reserve, anything that you just don't know the answer to, call my guy, Stewie. I guarantee that he's got the answer. And if he doesn't, he'll find the answer or he'll create a program specifically for you for that moment. And all you have to do is call his cell phone. That number is 314-324-4440. Again, that's 314-324-4440. If you can't remember that number, you can always Google the bagel loan. Stewie, thanks for everything you do, buddy.
Have a good one, Jane.
NMLS number 226715.
Warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Time check is 4:04 p.m. That's brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. And it's also time for the Gauntlet. We got a returning contestant, Cade, who took it to Marshy yesterday. Whoa. Cade, how we doing, bud?
Doing great. How are you guys?
I'm good, man. I'm good. All right, so you've got Carey or myself today. Who are you picking?
I think I'm going to go Carey.
All right. Carey Davis, head out of here. Get your butt to the Cone of Silence.
Out of here.
All right, as Carey's heading into the Cone of Silence, Cade, tell Marshy to spin the wheel, please.
Spin that wheel, Marshy.
All right. What do you want against Carey?
I mean, I'd like baseball. I'm a baseball guy. I want football again.
Okay. Well, you didn't get baseball. You got football. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how these questions match up. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes these football or hockey questions are things we don't even know. So go over this again. There's 4 questions. Each question's worth 2 points. If you use the options and answer correctly, it's worth 1 point. If you get it wrong, it's 0 points. If there's a tie, we will go to a tiebreaker. And Cade, we will get a winner here in the Gauntlet. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
Okay. Once again, category football, question number 1. Which college did Brandon Ayuk play football at?
Ooh. I get the options here.
Yes. Is it Arizona State, USC, or Texas Tech?
I'm going to go Arizona State. Final answer.
Okay.
Question number 2. Who is the all-time leading passer for the Carolina Panthers?
And mine goes to Cam Newton. Get the options.
Options are Kerry Collins, Jake Delhomme, or Cam Newton.
We'll go Cam Newton. Final.
All right, kid, question 3. Cam Newton led the Panthers to 1 Super Bowl, where they were beaten by the Broncos. That Broncos team beat which team in the AFC Championship that season before their Super Bowl victory over the Panthers? So who did the Broncos beat in the AFC Championship?
Go with the New England Patriots. Final answer.
Question number 4. Who was the running back for the Broncos in that Super Bowl victory over the Carolina Panthers?
Just give me the options, please.
Options are Willis McGahee, Ronnie Hillman, or C.J. Anderson.
Go C.J. Anderson. Final answer.
All right.
All right, we'll call in Carey here from the Cone of Silence. Cade, how do you feel?
Feel all right. I would Cam Newton off the bat, though, instead of taking the options.
All right. Well, Carey's back in here, so let's no more talking about the game.
Oh, man. All right. Well,
okay, Carey.
How's it going, gents?
That's great.
How was the Cone of Silence?
It was very silent.
Very silent, huh?
Yeah. Wasn't cold today. It was cold a couple days ago.
Yeah. All right.
How you guys doing?
Good. Did you pack a lunch?
I did. I ate it already.
Well, you should pack another one.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Category's football.
Oh, okay.
Question number 1.
All right.
Which college did Brandon Ayuk play football at?
Oh, man. I can see it. Oh, I think I can. I feel like it was somewhere west. Give me the options.
Was it Arizona State, USC, or Texas Tech?
Arizona State. Not Texas Tech. Final answer.
Which one?
Arizona State.
Okay.
Sorry.
Question number 2. Who is the all-time leading passer for the Carolina Panthers?
Oh, is it Cam? All-time leading passer for the Panthers. Who else could it be? Who else have they had that would even be close? Cam Newton, final answer.
Question 3. Cam Newton led the Panthers to 1 Super Bowl where they were beaten by the Broncos. That Broncos team beat which team in the AFC Championship that season before their Super Bowl victory over the Panthers? So who did the Broncos beat in the AFC Championship?
That was 2014. Oh, I don't know this. Give me the. Was it the Patriots? Give me the options.
Was it the Cincinnati Bengals, the New England Patriots, or the Buffalo Bills?
Patriots, final answer.
Question number 4. Who was the running back for the Broncos in that Super Bowl victory over the Carolina Panthers?
I feel like a No-Sean Moreno or Ball. What the hell was Ball's name from Wisconsin? He's from here. Can I just say Ball?
No.
Final answer? No?
Sorry.
I need the whole name?
Yes.
Are there 2 balls on the list?
That would help.
Options.
Options are Willis
Monty
McGahee. So options are Willis McGahee, Ronnie Hillman, or C.J. Anderson.
Oh. It wasn't C.J. Anderson. It was Ronnie. Who was the first one again?
Willis McGahee.
It wasn't Willis. You said for the Broncos, correct?
For the Broncos.
Give me Ronnie Hillman. Is that who you said?
Yeah, so it was Willis McGahee, Ronnie Hillman, or C.J. Anderson.
Ronnie Hillman, final answer. I'm glad I did take the option there.
Monty Ball.
Monty Ball.
Wisconsin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go over this. Let's start at question 2. Who's the all-time leading passer for the Carolina Panthers? Cade, you said Cam Newton. Carey, you also said Cam Newton. Marshy, answer is.
Well, I would have thought it was Jake Delhomme, but it is Cam Newton.
But Carey did not need the options, so it is 2-1 after 1. Let's go here to question 1. Which college did Brandon Ayuk play football at? Cade, you said Arizona State. Carey, you also said Arizona State. Answer is.
It is Arizona State.
But you both needed the options. 3-2 Carey after 2 questions. Let's go to question 3. Cam Newton led the Panthers to 1 Super Bowl where they were beaten by the Broncos. That Broncos team beat which team in the AFC Championship that season before the Super Bowl victory over the Panthers? Cade, you said the New England Patriots. Carey, you said the New England Patriots. Answer is.
It is the New England Patriots.
But Cade did not need the options. We are 4-4 headed into the final question. Who was the running back for the Broncos in that Super Bowl victory over Carolina? Cade, you said C.J. Anderson with the options. Carey, you said Ronnie Hillman with the options. One of you is correct. If it's Hillman, Carey will win today. If it's C.J. Anderson, Cade will continue his quest here in the Gauntlet. Cade.
You have chosen wisely.
The answer, C.J. Anderson. Carey, you're going to kick yourself. The question is, who was the running back for the Broncos in that Super Bowl victory over Carolina? Ronnie Hillman led Denver in rushing that season, but did not play in the Super Bowl.
Ooh. I didn't remember that. Yeah. I knew he was on the team. I knew he was, yeah. Good job, Cade.
Cade, you got him 5-4, buddy.
That was an absolute shot in the dark there on Pete.
All right, man. Well, you'll be back tomorrow to face me, and if you beat me, you'll get our guy Anthony on Monday.
All righty, sounds good.
All right, Cade. Have a great day, man.
All right, thank you.
Good job.
Good job, Cade.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Good job, Carey.
The Patriots one is kicking me because I'm thinking, I'm like, who else would it have been?
In that time period, there's nobody else.
I shouldn't have had to, and I should have known Peyton, Patriots. Like, it just, But I said it too late after. I was like,
you got it right.
Yeah.
You just had to use the options.
I love the Bengals and the Bills as options.
No.
We now think of those teams of like, oh yeah, those teams are back then. Those teams were terrible.
They were terrible. Absolutely awful. All right, Carey, good job, buddy. It happens. Now it's up to me tomorrow to beat the brakes off Cade.
Need you.
All right, we're going to get into some Blues talk here. Our guy, Jeremy Rutherford, had an article out, and it's regarding the Blues' new head coach. And Marshy jotted this down, said, can Drew Bannister find more success with a full offseason? We'll talk about that next here on 101 ESPN. Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Our guy, Jeremy Rutherford, a friend of the show, friend of the station, he had a little article for The Athletic. Check it out. He's on Twitter, X, at JP Rutherford. He always has great stuff on there. Now, Marshy, I know you were perusing the article, and you saw some quotes, and you were wanting to talk about this.
Yeah, so JR, his article is for Blues Drew Bannister. Getting to know his players has been an off-season priority. And we know Drew Bannister was thrown into the head coaching position, midway through the season once Craig Berube got fired. And now he is the full-time head coach, has an opportunity now to do what he wants to do starting in the offseason. But there was a quote that I found that I really liked, and this is from the piece. It says, I've never had the opportunity to get to know them a lot during the season. And this is from Drew Bannister. I think it's important because at the end of the day, we spend 2 or 3 hours with them at the rink, and there's a lot more going on in these players' lives. They have to believe that you have their best hockey interest in mind, but also hockey isn't everything, and there's more that motivates them. It's important to build those relationships and find out what they're doing on the outside, hobbies, kids, etc. I have to be able to share that information about me too, and you start to find things in common. I think when it comes to sports and becoming a team, I think the off ice or off the field is just as important than the on ice or on the field. And that's not just teammates. It starts with the head coach and with the guy who is now in his first tenure as a NHL head coach. I think this is very important for Drew Bannister to get to know the players and be able to talk to them, see how they're feeling when you're ultimately going to lead these guys for a full 82 games, hopefully more than 82.
Yeah, so pretty much gone are the days of having a drill sergeant head coach that really doesn't care about anything else you do except for what you're doing at the rink or on the field or on the court or whatever. The coaches that have the most success here recently are coaches that are relatable, that their players like them. Let's just look back here, okay? Paul Maurice with the Florida Panthers just won the Stanley Cup. Players adore him because he's an open book. He cares about his players. He gets to know them. He puts them in situations to succeed. He holds each guy accountable to the same level. And as an athlete, that's all you want. And it is imperative to get to know your players on a more personal level, I think, because your player leaves the rink or leaves the field and goes home. And what they do from that point to the next time you see them, whether it's for a practice or a game, it can really affect their performance as an athlete. And I'm not talking about going out and being wild and things like that, because that can obviously impact an athlete.
Right.
It can. Some guys it doesn't. Some guys it does. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is, what if you're having problems at home? Like, what if you're having problems with your spouse? What if you're having something with your children where they need extra attention medically, or maybe they need more help with their reading, or just everyday life things that happen to everybody that's listening right now and anybody else who's working here? It happens. But then you have to go perform at an elite level with things in the back of your mind, or maybe it was a sleepless night because your son or your daughter was up crying and couldn't find a time. You couldn't find sleep. And anyways, so I think it's important that the coach does get to know the athlete on a wider spectrum than just as the athlete.
When I hear Drew Bannister talk, the more I hear him talk, the more impressed I get by him, because he feels like, it seems like he gets it. Like he's not one of those coaches, as you said, that are just drill sergeants and play. No, I don't care what you. No, he understands that these are humans. They're not machines. There are things that make them tick on and off the ice. And the more I know about those things, the more I get to know this player, the more I can pull things out of him, or I can know when to push harder or when to dial it back a little bit, and how that's going to help our team have success. And he's right. He didn't have the opportunity. You're thrusted into the position of head coach
in a weird spot.
Like they fire.
Here's your job. You're replacing one of the most popular coaches ever.
Now figure out how to win games. I don't even know these guys. So now taking the time in the offseason to get to know these people on an individual level, and not only getting to know them, what he also said was them getting to know me, like how I move, the things that move me about my family, my kids, my history, and where I am and where I want to go. All of those things I think what I've learned, and I'm sure you will agree to this as well, the coaches that I would run through a wall for were the ones I knew cared about me.
Yes.
If they didn't care about me, I don't care about you. If I'm just a number on your sheet and a piece of your puzzle to put where you need to be, then I don't care about you either. I know how you talk about us. I know how you think about us. But the ones that really invest into who you are as a person, hey, how's your family? That's why Coach LeBeau, we talked about Coach LeBeau a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
That's why Coach LeBeau was so well loved, because he knew everything about every player and they knew about him. So, when you get those guys on your team and you're willing to invest into them, they will pour their heart out and they will play their hardest for you because they know you have their best interest.
So a couple things to add to that. You just said, Coach LeBeau, hey, how's your family? How you this? But you got to mean it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because I played for a guy in Detroit. Okay? You can go back and check the history books. You all probably know who it was at that time. And he would grab you. He would run into you accidentally in the lounge. You'd get in a coffee and he'd be forced to talk to you.
Right.
Because he didn't really want to talk to you. Okay? Trust me. And he'd be like, hey, how's the family doing? And then as you're answering, he was like, say hi to somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay, a-hole.
Yeah.
You care about my family right now. And I'd watch him do it every day to different players. And I was like, it was a shtick almost. Like, hey, I care.
I had to say this. It's like I checked that off my list. It was said.
I didn't know how to interact with you, so I'm just going to ask you about your family, even though I don't care.
Let me see pictures of your family.
Yeah, give me your phone for a second. Like, that's in play. Like, I believe that may have happened further on down the road.
That's
with a different team, of course. His tenure ended very quickly.
Heard about that guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Didn't know you played. I heard about a guy like that.
We're throwing stuff
Just
at the
a guy
wall
like
here.
that.
Wow.
Okay?
It's all hypothetical, right?
So when you talk about coaches wanting to get to know you personally, they actually have to care. They actually have to really want to get to know you. And then at that point, when the trust is there, then the player wants to get to know the coach. And to further the conversation about Drew Bannister is he really takes the coaching craft very seriously. And I know that sounds crazy because, well, everybody should. It's not that other guys don't. But Drew Bannister has had mentors along the way. And he talks about them all the time. Ted Nolan, who was a phenomenal junior coach, was a phenomenal NHL coach, no longer coaches in the NHL, but Teddy's a mentor of his. And so Drew will sit there and just like sponge up anything he can from that person. And he goes to different coaching conferences and all these places that he goes and he tries to learn something more. He wants to be a great NHL head coach, thus leading him to hire Claude Julien. Because why? Because Drew Bannister felt that this team needed an elder statesman behind that bench that he could learn from at the same time. How many coaches, not only do they want to get to know their players and do all that stuff, how many coaches put themselves in a situation where they're bringing in a championship-winning head coach to learn from while you're the head coach.
And be on the bench with you. And as you said, has that experience, has won a championship, and not be intimidated by that. Actually want that person there for the mentorship, the guidance, and to, I may have questions of my own. This is my first time doing this really at this level.
Not too proud.
And not too proud to say, hey, what do you think? And get a realistic expectation. So, I get more and more impressed by Drew Bannister the more I hear him talk, and just knowing I feel like this team is going to be in a much better place, as far as the team chemistry than they have been in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome for Drew to have an entire pre-camp when all the young guys are here. Then he'll have a training camp. You have all of preseason. It will really give him a chance to implement whatever systems he wants, but also create the culture that the coaching staff and the team want to have as well. It's going to be interesting. I think Drew Bannister is a hell of a coach. I think he's a good dude. So we'll see. Hopefully there's success that follows at the same time as that. All right. We are going to get into hot take or hot garbage next. So 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Text in your hot take or hot garbage on there, or the Air Alliance YouTube channel, better known as the Snake Pit. You can drop a couple in there. Our guy Marshy will be grabbing those, and we'll go over that next here on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you're a contractor or you own a business that needs recycling, then you need to know about my good friends over at Scrap Mart Metals. They are tailor-made for your business to meet your schedule and your budget. You'd be amazed at how scrap metals add up and how it can truly help your business's cash flow. They understand at Scrap Mart the job site cleanup for contractors is often a mess. If you set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal, it'll be one less thing you have to do during cleanup. If you own that heavy equipment, it breaks down often. You have to repair it over and over. At some point, it's going to break down for good, and you're going to have to get rid of it. Scrap Mart will come get it out of your way. They'll haul your equipment to one of their convenient locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you want to haul it yourself, they have 3 locations: Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. It is recycling made easy. Copper, wire, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, batteries, electric motors, steel, cast iron, and so much more. They offer convenient drive on scale. You will always get a top dollar for your scrap metals. Just visit them at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting up a business account and getting you rolling. That's scrapmartmetals.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals looking for a sweep tonight as they take on the Tampa Bay Rays. They defeated the Rays last night 5-2 with Eric Fetty picking up his first win as a Cardinal. Kyle Gibson on the mound tonight for the Redbirds going up against Shane Baz. First pitch is at 6:15. The United States defeated Serbia in the men's basketball semifinal 95-91. They were trailing. They ended up coming back and defeating Serbia. So congratulations to the United States men's basketball team. We have hot take or hot garbage coming up next. So if you have a hot take you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Hot take or hot garbage coming your way next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this SportsCenter update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Hot take.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. We're here on 101 ESPN. It's time for hot take or hot garbage. We asked you to send in your hot take or hot garbage to the text line. Marshy, what do we got?
All right, let's start off with Jamie's Vacation Speedo. Hot take or hot garbage, Jordan Carew will once again score 30-plus goals and perhaps even score 40-plus this upcoming season.
I'm going to go with hot take on that one. I think that, I think that Jordan Carew, look, every year that you play, you get smarter and you get better. Mm-hmm. You hit a threshold somewhere around that 30 years old range, and that's where the separator happens to where the truly elite players can continue to produce past the age of 30. Jordan Carew is only, 25, I think? Maybe going to be 26?
Yeah, 26.
26.
Right now.
He's approaching the prime of his career. Mm-hmm. He should absolutely get 30 goals next year.
He's 40? That's the part where I looked at you.
He got there before. He got 37 goals 2 years ago. So, can he do that again? He's going to play every power play. Power play should be better this year. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say hot take.
All right.
Carey doesn't believe it.
I'm going with you. Listen, I trust your hockey knowledge.
All right.
Well, I mean, I have taught you a few things, Jamie, but some of these topics, you're welcome. I hear you using them on the TV every now and then.
I try to slide it in there, you know?
No, you do.
Yep.
From the 636, Josh Allen is the most physically gifted player in the league, not overall the best. Hot take or hot garbage?
Most physically gifted? Oh, man. I mean, you got some defensive linemen that chase quarterbacks that are extremely
Christian
gifted.
McCaffrey. You got Debo Samuel.
And I'm gonna be honest. I refuse to. Trent Williams might be the most physically gifted. Like, I know he's an offensive lineman. It's not a sexy position, but I've seen that man go in motion and crack down on a defensive lineman. Like, he is special. So I would have to go. I would say hot garbage.
Yeah, I would go with Christian McCaffrey.
Tyreek Hill.
Here's why I go with Christian McCaffrey. If I'm like the most gifted athletically, right? Means he can run, means he can catch, means he can throw the ball.
Yeah.
All those. So for me, Christian McCaffrey has proven at the NFL level that he can do all of those things.
He is extremely talented. Yeah. There are some guys that are like freak athletes. DK Metcalf, I think you would probably put on that list as well.
That's a machine. That's not a man.
Let's hold our horses on Josh Allen being the most gifted player.
I totally agree with that.
I think the moment that DK Metcalf ran from the 1 yard line.
And chased Buda Baker down?
Yeah. I think I was like, I think that guy might be the most athletic guy in the league.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. He didn't give up on a play.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy could play for me.
From the 314, hot take or hot garbage. That semifinal team USA just played was the greatest game, or I guess the game, was the greatest game in USA Olympic history. That's got to be a troll.
That's not. That's hot garbage. I mean, maybe because it shouldn't. We're not accustomed to seeing the Team USA in men's basketball have those games like that. It was a good game. The USA won, which they should have. Again, you got a team full of NBA players, and Serbia has, I think, 2, maybe 3 NBA players. And so, yeah, you should win that game.
What's the most memorable United States, at least basketball game? Because when I think of USA basketball, and they didn't even win this game. I think it's the game against Russia where they got screwed.
They got screwed on the very end of the game. I was just about to say that game against the Russians. I forget what year it was. Maybe it was 76.
It had to be before they started the Miracle on Ice game.
It was definitely before that. I think it was 76. It may have even been in Montreal that year.
Really?
Why do I remember that? I don't know. I don't know. But I would say that's probably the greatest game. Today was exciting.
It was exciting.
Carey was screaming and yelling.
I couldn't believe Serbia fouled Steph Curry with like 8 seconds. Shot clock's about to run out.
I couldn't believe Team USA won without rebounding today.
They did not choose to rebound. Defensive boards were optional the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. Looked like to me, Serbia was on the boards, on the glass.
They were.
But yeah, it was a good win for them.
72 is when Russia
72?
defeated
Where
the
was
United
that?
States.
Do we know? I think that was.
When did Vince Carter jump over a human being? Because that for me was
that's
outstanding.
It looks like it was in Munich.
Okay, Munich, and I think 1976 Olympics were. I think that
they were in Montreal. The 76 Olympics were in Montreal.
I had the year right. I had the game in the wrong year. That's all, Carey. It happens.
It does.
You put the wrong thing in the wrong place every now and then.
It doesn't always work out for you.
No.
The 314 says, "Did you watch the game? It was so much fun. The Joker was a monster."
We did watch.
We did watch it, but we didn't get to like watch it.
The Joker was a monster, and he'll be a monster in the bronze medal game too.
Well played, Jamie.
Where did he finish? Last, right? Okay.
Yeah. Steph went off.
He did. He sure did. Do we have any more, Marshy?
Yes. From the 217.
Yeah.
Hot take or hot garbage? The Cardinals would be better off going young and moving on from Paul Goldschmidt, Miles Michaelis, etc.
Hot take.
Yeah, hot take.
Yep. I mean, I think you have to finish out this year and give it the old college try. You gotta finish on a strong, in a strong way. But I don't know that if you don't make the playoffs, running it back. I know Nolan Arenado will be here, but Paul Goldschmidt, maybe it's time to move on. Get a little bit younger.
Not maybe.
But we know that. I was, again, listening to BK and Ferrario, listening to BK this morning and Tanner talking about the nostalgia that Cardinals have for keeping guys around. Getting 2,000 hits in a Cardinal uniform, that means a lot. Winning 200 games in a Cardinal uniform, that means a lot.
Higher than third. That means a lot.
Jamie, if you can't finish higher than third, you know what means a lot? Getting those numbers and being in the Cardinal uniform. Don't you dare not think it doesn't mean anything.
I don't think it does.
It means everything.
That doesn't mean they don't.
That's what I'm saying. They believe it.
But I'm telling you this more and more that I think about it. If you walk on Paul Goldschmidt and you can find a trade partner for Nolan Arenado, I absolutely think the Cardinals should go get Pete Alonso. You'd be way more than able to pay for him.
I think you are 2 years too late for that scenario.
Well, I still like the idea.
Let's do one more here.
Thank you, Marshy.
From the 314, hot take or hot garbage? Anthony Edwards is the best player on Team USA.
That's hot garbage. I love Ant-Man. Love him. Think he's going to be I mean, Rocchio thinks he's going to be the MVP of the league at some point. I think we got a bet on that. I got to check. I think we have a bet. I don't think Ant-Man. He may be, but right now, no.
You don't think he'll be an MVP?
I don't know. I mean, there are still a lot of good players that you're going to have to go through.
If he didn't play in Minnesota?
Probably. Might be a little bit easier. But I don't think it's going to, I just don't think it's going to happen. But he is a special, special talent.
Yeah.
Best player on Team USA right now?
No. LeBron went off today, LeBron's been really good this tournament.
He's still one of the better players in the league. Steph is still very good. Jason Tatum is really, really good.
That
You got
guy,
a lot
Kevin
of guys.
Durant, he's doing pretty good.
KD, I mean, he's going to shoot. He's going to make it every time, it seems like. So, yeah. Still some guys.
Exciting. They still got a game to go, though. So we'll see what happens. Again, that was Hot Take or Hot Garbage. We are going to get into some Blues cues next. So we're going to keep that text line activated. Text your Blues question to 314-399-9646. We'll talk some more Blues hockey next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, people are talking about Window Nation, and their customer Vicky says we couldn't be happier. This was a great experience. She's just one of over 33,000 five-star reviews, and that's because Window Nation is all about value. And this August, they're giving you a great value during the Window Nation anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There's no limit to how much you could save. Plus, you could save big with no interest or payments for 24 months. If you act now, you'll get an additional $250 credit as well. Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability. That's why they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. Window Nation was also recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. So you can trust Window Nation for high quality, affordable windows. Stop paying more than you have to. Hurry. The sale ends August 31st. Schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90Nation or visit them online at windownation.com. They can install that window in 1 day or less, and the window, again, comes with a lifetime warranty. 866-90Nation or visit them online at windownation.com.
Are we waiting on your little pill to hit home base?
No, I got a chewable. It works faster.
Oh, so we can get naughtier sooner?
And longer.
Victory Men's Health has launched VictoryRx.com. Get prescribed our #1 ED medication. It has the combined power of Cialis and Viagra in a chewable tablet and better absorption. It's easy. Get a consultation on VictoryRx.com and your ED chewable. VictoryRx.com, where men's sexual health matters.
Now's a great time for Mosby Building Arts to tackle that small project you've been dreaming about. Whether it's a deck, porch, laundry room, built-ins, bar, or workout room, small projects can mean big happiness for your family. Check out the tried and true Mosby Blue at callmosby.com.
Now, it's time for the Fast Lane's Blues Cues.
It's a Fast Lane here, 101 ESPN. Time for Blues Cues. So if you haven't sent your questions in yet regarding the St. Louis Blues, you can still do so. Text them into 314-399-9646 or drop them in the snake pit on the Air Alliance YouTube page. Marshy, what do we got?
All right, from the 636, how far are the St. Louis Blues away from being a real playoff threat and even a cup contender?
I would say they are... We're talking years or players or what? Like, what do you think they mean by that?
I'm just assuming, like, what year?
I'd say 3 years from now. You have to give your young guys chances to develop. Maybe some of these contracts, well, not maybe, some of them will come off the books so you can readjust your defensive core if you want. Your goaltending, 3 years from now, unfortunately, Jordan Binnington will be gone. Or he'll be in the last year of his contract. So the timing might actually be perfect. So I'd say 3 years from now, you can look at a team that you can probably say this is going to be a competitive team. And that, of course, is assuming that Jake Neighbors continues to ascend with his development, Dalibor Dvorsky, Jimmy Snuggerud, Zach Bolduc. If all of these guys are playing prominent roles by the time that comes around, that means you've done your job the right way and you put yourself in a good position.
This one comes from Grant Francis Fan Club. I know the Blues have had a department of analytics for a few years now. What exactly do hockey analytic departments do? What kind of stuff do they look like? And what kind of data do they supply to coaches and management?
Pretty much anything you want to know, especially now the players have the chips in the jerseys so they can tell, how fast guys are skating throughout the game, how hard they're back checking. The analytics will show clean zone exit. So if you're a defenseman and you're making a pass, does the pass get out of the zone? If you're a winger and you receive a pass to the tape in the defensive zone, do you successfully exit the zone? Do you turn the puck over? The same thing for offensive zone entries, time of possession in the offensive zone. I mean, there is an analytic for pretty much everything. And the coaches, it's all readily available to them, but there's certain analytics that mean more for certain players. Like if you have a defensive player that's out there, then the matchups, the numbers for the defensive player should show that they're spending less and less time in the defensive zone. It means they're doing their job right. It means that whoever they're playing against is not getting offensive zone time of possession, which means the defensive guy is winning that battle. So I think the analytics most of the time are very specific to whatever that individual's role is on the team. And then from there, you can look at a lot of the analytics that are a team number where you can see how good your team is doing overall.
From the 618, how much does Torrey Krug being out hurt the Blues? And do you see any move to try and use the cap space?
I don't see any move right away. I think Doug Armstrong is going to see what he's got internally, and he's going to judge how Scott Perunovich does and things like that. And how much could it hurt? It could hurt a lot. If Scott Perunovich is not ready for everyday reps at the NHL level, or he's not willing to shoot the puck more on the power play, then that power play could suffer. And then once that happens, the team can kind of go into a bit of a funk. We saw what it did to the Blues to start last season. You don't want that happening somewhere around the 20-25 game mark this year either. So there could be a lot of different ways that Torrey Krug not playing could impact his team.
From the 314, what skills does Colton Parayko need to improve on to be held in the same regard as Chris Pronger?
Well, one, he's not born with one of the skills. Chris Pronger was a mean player, and Colton Parayko just isn't. Chris Pronger would cross-check a guy in the face, and as the guy was trying to pick up his teeth, he'd shoot the teeth down the ice. Like, that's just the type of guy he was, which is fine. It was great for that era of hockey. But Colton Parayko, let's just be honest, he'll never have that particular, we'll call it a skill. Otherwise, Parayko skates better than Pronger did, shoots the puck harder than Pronger did. Prong shot the puck hard, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't shoot as hard as Colton Parayko. And as far as, defensively, I think that they're both similar, except for Prongs was so much meaner, so that added a layer to the defensive ability. And Chris Pronger was a power play defenseman. Depending on what team he was on, he wasn't always the number one unit, but he was absolutely on the power play. And he has very good puck skills, great offensive awareness. He sees the ice very well. I think those are the differentiators between Pronger and Colton Parayko, which is why you have one guy that's a Hockey Hall of Famer and another guy that's just going to be a really good player.
This next one comes from the Nutcracker. If this year is another struggle, who do you believe is the top realistic trade request we receive besides Jordan Binnington?
Colton Parayko. I mean, you could say Robert Thomas, but I think teams would call knowing that he's got, 7 years left on his deal, that Army's probably not going to part with said player. Mm-hmm. But you put, let's just go back last year to the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you put Colton Parayko on that team for their playoff run, you could argue that maybe they beat the Florida Panthers. You could.
Yeah.
You could argue, you could put Colton Parayko on the Boston Bruins, maybe to beat the Florida Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Put Colton Parayko on any team in the NHL last year in the playoffs, and he helps that team drastically.
What about Brandon Saad?
I don't know. I mean, would he help? Would he be the biggest, the one that people call on? No.
No, I don't think he'd be the top guy, but I'm wondering if he could help a team. For instance, I have no idea if they would ever do this, but Stan Bowman, who's now with Edmonton.
Yeah.
He definitely loves Brandon Saad. So much that he traded Artemi Panarin away to get Brandon Saad back to Chicago.
Yes, this is true.
So I wonder if maybe he would be interested in having a Brandon Saad come in who has a cup. He has experience with Stan Bowman, trade him to Edmonton. I'm just throwing something out there. I have no idea if this would actually happen.
Though? They've got Corey Perry. They've got Evander Kane. They've got those third line.
No, for sure.
I don't see Brandon Saad being a hot commodity. Mm-hmm. I see him being if the Blues are out of it, I could absolutely see him being moved to a contender type team, but as a third, fourth line guy.
Yeah, nothing oh, wow, we really need to get that guy.
Yeah, Army's phone isn't ringing at 7 a.m. on trade deadline day with the first call asking for Brandon Saad.
Correct.
No disrespect for Brandon Saad. He said, hell of a career, better career than I ever had. So.
Of course. Let's do one more here from the 618. What is Jamie's 100% honest take on how the Blues stack up in the Central Division?
Well, my 100% honest take is they're going to have to pack a lunch. As we say in the Gauntlet, the Blues are going to have a tough go, man. There are some really good teams. You've got the Colorado Avalanche, the Dallas Stars, the Nashville Predators, who went out and got pretty much everybody that they wanted to get. You've got the Winnipeg Jets. There's so many good teams. And who knows what Utah's going to be this year. That's a team that could surprise some people and challenge for a playoff spot as a wild card team. So things are not easy in the Central Division for the Blues. It's going to be a grind, man. They're going to have to just continue to try and win hockey games in any way they can and hope for some teams to maybe implode or, I hate to say hope for injuries, but just some kind of a bad juju, something happened to a team. Something bad. Mm-hmm. And where nobody really gets hurt or anything like that, but...
Well, maybe they just suck.
You're right.
Maybe they have a steep decline or something.
That would be great.
Out of nowhere.
Would love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not going to be very easy for the Blues in the Central Division. It's going to be a tough one, which is why I think Army did a great job of bulking up on some size, too, up front. All right, that was your Blues Cues segment. We are at the 5 o'clock hour, and in 15 minutes, we're going to get to our mic drop question. And today's mic drop question was, what are the Cardinals missing from an organizational standpoint? It could be a star player, a manager, a pitching coach, anything you think that would help the Cardinals or something you think they're missing is what we're looking for. So again, get to the ESPN mobile app, click on the little microphone, leave your mic drop there, and we'll get to that at 5:15. And let's see, coming up next year, we're going to talk a little more NFL. Our guy Carey going to get back here, and we're going to talk about which NFL head coaches are on the hot seat here on 101 ESPN. Wrestling here on 101 ESPN. NFL right around the corner, and already there are some coaches, Carey, that I think maybe they're not on the hot seat, but they're entering the season on the warm seat. So, which NFL coaches do you think are on the warm/hot seat?
Well, I'm gonna go one. Give you one name.
Just one.
I can give you a couple, but I give you want two apiece. You gonna do two apiece?
Two each from all of us?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
One each. I'll start. Robert Saleh of the New York Jets. You know, he's got a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if you heard of this guy. He's pretty good. I think he's won the MVP 4 times.
He's really good. Just ask him.
If you ask him, he'll tell you. But he and Aaron aren't seeing eye to eye or haven't seen eye to eye. And Robert Saleh, I think, came in with great expectations. Defensively, they've been really good for the last few years. But last year, getting Aaron Rodgers getting hurt to start the season off, things didn't go as they planned, and he hasn't had a winning season as a head coach just yet. He's been under 500, 4-13 his first year, 7-10 the last 2 years. He needs to win, and they have a talented enough roster to win. Defensively, again, they've done some great things in the draft. Offensively, you got Breece Hall healthy this year for the entire year. You got Garrett Wilson at receiver. You got the guy I just mentioned in Aaron Rodgers, hopefully healthy for the entire season. If Robert Saleh doesn't win, and if they stink coming out of the gates, that could be the first domino to fall.
Yeah, so I had written him down. The next one for me was Nick Sirianni.
I hate that for him.
It's true. He's in a crazy market for one thing. Philadelphia, that market will eat you up and spit you out, and they dropped off the face of the earth to end the season last year, which was horrible, bad look all around. And now you hear rumblings that him and his star quarterback, who's making bank, are not seeing eye to eye. We know that the player who's guaranteed 150 or 170 million of his contract probably not going anywhere.
Probably not.
So I've got Nick Sirianni on the hot seat.
I hate that for him because they're 2 years removed from making it to the Super Bowl, lost to the great Patrick Mahomes and the
What's
Kansas
his name?
City Chiefs.
Peterson won the damn thing, and 2 years later he was fired.
This is true. Last year it didn't go well. They started off the season really hot. I think they won their first 11 of their first 12 games and then lost 5 of their last 6. So it started. But then they fired 2 coordinators. I mean, not fired. They had to replace both of their coordinators.
Well, they
from
did
the
that
year
instead
before.
of the coach.
Yes, and then they fired both of the coordinators after last season. So I don't know, man. I hate that for Nick Sirianni. I actually think the Eagles will be much better this year, so he probably will be okay. But he is definitely on the hot seat.
Marsh, you got one?
I'm going with Matt Eberflus out of Chicago.
The Chicago Bears.
So, I mean, Caleb Williams is supposed to be that dude, right?
Yeah.
And if you cannot get him right, also Justin Fields, you couldn't get him right, I don't think you should probably have a job. And maybe it's not his fault, but that's just the way sports goes. That's the way the baseball go. That's the way the football go, right?
It is. It is. You're not wrong. You got some pieces there to be a really good team this year. Caleb Williams being the one, they let Justin Fields go and decided to go in the direction of Caleb Williams. I like their team. I've told you this. I think they're going to surprise some people in the NFC North. Jamie disagrees. Marshy disagrees. Wonder why. 2 of their teams are in the NFC North, so it's
I'm
no
not worried
wonder.
about my team.
I mean, listen.
I'm very worried about my team.
He is.
Now, my expectations are lower than what you can see on the YouTube screen. They're so far down. It's not even close.
For your team?
Well, yeah.
For the Vikings?
They have Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy as the quarterbacks.
You watch your mouth about Sam.
I've been giving the guy praise all offseason.
Watch your mouth about him.
What I'm saying is that they're 2 unproven talents. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned with my team right now.
I don't disagree with that. Another coach that I think, and we talked about this team earlier in the show, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy on the final year of his contract. Got 3 guys that are wanting to be paid. This could all implode quickly for them. Again, I think the Eagles are the best team in that division. I think the Cowboys are the second best team. But if you come out of the gates and struggle, if CeeDee Lamb holds out much longer, if Dak is not playing at the level that you need him to play, this could be over really quickly for Mike McCarthy, and you just go in a different direction and not wait till the end of the year. Him keeping his job after they lost to the Green Bay Packers, in which they did, was a surprise for me.
So let's play a different game now, because I think those are the most obvious ones. Let's play a different game now where what would be a wild card head coach for you that's on the hot seat? Somebody that you're like, but if you squint, you can see how they could lose their job. Because I've got a few that I wrote down.
I also have one that comes to mind.
Okay, go ahead, Marshy.
Sean McDermott.
Bam.
In Buffalo.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to get over the hump, although I don't expect them to this season because of the roster that they have. Yeah, they have Josh Allen, who's a great quarterback, and you expect him to do great things. However, the team aspect, I don't have huge expectations for them. So I could see them potentially being like, all right, we didn't really have high expectations. You're still going to be here. But I could also see them being like, dude, you haven't done anything with this team in the amount of time that you've had to go out and win a Super Bowl.
And you've had some really good teams.
And you've had some really good teams. I think it's time maybe we move on, and you're just not going to be a part of that situation.
So I had that name. I've got 3 other names.
What about Doug Peterson in Jacksonville?
I don't have him down.
You don't have him down?
That's interesting.
That would be one. You know, you got a team. They didn't make the playoffs last year. You got a guy in Trevor Lawrence who everyone kind of gives him a pass for his first year because of Owen. What was his name? Urban Meyer. Owen Meyer. His brother, his evil twin brother, Urban Meyer. And so, but Doug Peterson, you know, they haven't had. I don't think they've had the success that they thought they would have so far.
They still got a playoff win.
Yeah, barely. Because the Chargers just said,
but that was the hell with it. That was a team that we didn't think would even get to the playoffs. And
The
they got a playoff
Chargers
win.
said, I don't want to win. You can have it.
I know.
You go ahead. And their coach got fired.
I don't think Peterson's on the hot seat, but I didn't ask for that. I asked for who you think could be a wild card. Yeah. So here's a couple more. And I'll just go over. I've got 3 more names, and I want your guys' quick opinions on them. Brian Daboll.
I don't think that's a surprise. I honestly, you know, he won Coach of the Year a couple of years ago, a couple seasons ago. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, they stunk last year, and and again, not all his fault. I mean, Danny Dimes is what they call him, but he's not dropping a lot of them. So
no,
that's an uncomfortable situation for a head coach to be in when you're tied, when you're married to a quarterback that you may not actually want to be your quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised, though. I would not be surprised if he lost his job.
All right.
I would have said yes if I hadn't just watched the offseason Hard Knocks of the New York Giants.
But I think it works against him even more.
See,
because his thought process of wanting another quarterback and all this stuff, like, to me, that's like if I'm the GM and I'm the ownership watching that, I'm like,
well, the GM was a part of like the entire show. He was like the main character of this whole offseason Hard Knocks, and so to see their group come together and put the team together, yeah, Brian Daboll has a part to play in that, but it's not all on him. Now, if this whole Malik Neighbors thing doesn't work out the way they think it should. Then maybe, because he was really high on Malik Neighbors. But, I mean, I don't know. But that, again, I've said it before, that's just how sports is. Usually it's the head coach who's getting fired and not the people in the front office. That comes a little bit later. But watching that show definitely opened my eyes up to seeing what actually transpires with the front office.
All right, I got 2 more real quick. John Harbaugh.
Oh, no.
What if that team crashes and burns?
John is solidified. No. Not at all.
I don't think he'll ever be fired.
Probably not. He'll be a guy that walks away on his own.
What about Mike Tomlin?
No.
I know you're going to say no because you have to.
He just signed a new deal.
But what?
Nah, I would say no.
What if they stink? What if they miss the playoffs?
It will be the first time in his career that they didn't have a winning record. more than likely. I mean, I guess you could still miss
Kerry
the playoffs and
Tomlin
have a
kicking
winning
in here.
record. I mean, when you win all the
talking about his
time,
dad.
it's hard for me to go against a guy that finds a way.
All right.
The last couple of years with Ben, with his arm the way that it was, still found a way to make it. Last year, I don't know who the hell you want, Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett, Kenny Two Gloves as your quarterback, still made it. I think the Steelers are fine, and I don't think Mike Tomlin will be losing his job anytime soon.
All right. That was the NFL segment on NFL coaches who are on the hot seat and some of our wild card picks. We did talk some Blues earlier. The Blues season right around the corner, and we're doing it again. We're running it back this year. Blues and Brews will be happening again. Join 101 ESPN for the second annual Blues and Brews on Friday evening, September 20th at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. Get fired up for the Blues season at this outdoor street party. They'll be featuring live music from country music star Matt Stell and St. Louis's own Charles Glenn Group. Plus appearances by several Blues players, Blues alumni. There'll be food trucks there, 101 giveaways, and more. Tickets are just $20 and are on sale now. Learn more at 101ESPN.com. Okay, coming up next, we teased this all throughout the day for our mic drop segment. The question was, what are the Cardinals missing from an organizational standpoint? We'll play your mic drops next here, and we'll react to all that stuff coming up here on 101 ESPN.
What the Cardinals are missing, honestly, is a drive to win. And that comes from the very top down. They're missing somebody that says, I don't want to be good enough. I want to be the best, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to get it. I want to be the best. That's what they're missing. Because right now, good enough is good enough.
All right, that was Randy. Thank you so much for that mic drop. We got Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers here in the Fast Lane, 101 ESPN. The question we had for the day was, what are the Cardinals missing from an organizational standpoint? And we just left it wide open for you guys. We tried to stay away from, a second baseman, a this, or that. Star player we did get to, but now we're turning the focus onto you, our listeners. So we asked you guys, and Daniel has this to say.
What the Cardinals are missing are competent leadership at the top that do not continue to make the same mistakes, like hiring Mike Matheny over Jose Oquendo, or getting rid of Mike Schilt, or literally thinking that Ali Marmol is the best option to be the manager of this team. It's terrible. We should have signed Oquendo to be the manager in 2012, asked Matheny to coach in the minors for 5 years. That whole decision screwed us out of winning the World Series in 2012, 13, and or 14. I'm out. This is Daniel in St. Louis.
All right.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel in St. Louis. He's obviously passionate about the managerial decisions that the Cardinals have made. I don't think he's wrong, and I love Mike Matheny. And what's weird is, Mike Matheny is so unbelievably smart when it comes to baseball. We've had him on the show a couple of times, Carey, and every time he comes on, it's okay. I just got smarter learning about baseball from this guy. Yeah. In particular, when we talk about the catching position. Yeah. He's an encyclopedia. So that doesn't necessarily qualify him to be a manager when he's never managed before. Mm-hmm. So I can see the frustration there. The Mike Schilt thing, there's a lot of things that went on behind the scenes that people don't know about. Mm-hmm. That they think that Mike Schilt was, the golden god. And there were some things that would probably make you think that, I could see why. I can see why they moved on.
In a different direction?
In a different direction, yeah. They politely called it philosophical differences. And for the most part, that's what it was. But it wasn't always regarding baseball.
Yeah. I think Daniel is frustrated, like you said, with the front office. Not so much, I can't blame you for getting the job. I would blame the person that hired you, right? If that's the case. And I think he's basically saying the people that hired those people or let those people go, whatever the case may be, need to be better. And I think, again, any organization, no matter what it is, what you're doing, what the focus is, it always starts at the top. And people can run and blame players, you can blame managers, but the front office and the ownership, that always is where all of the decisions come from. And so, if the Cardinals aren't what you want them to be or aren't having the success on the field like you would like, it starts at the top. And that's where you have to point the finger and ask questions to.
All right, we'll go to our next one here because apparently we got one there. On the text line, just let us know that there's one waiting for you, Marshy. So let's listen to Jason first.
Hey, guys. I agree with Jamie in terms of investing resources in player development. Because, let's be honest, the Cardinals are not going to be able to compete with the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Yankees or even the Mets when it comes to free agent signings. One, players aren't as interested in coming to St. Louis as they used to be. And two, the financial resources, whatever you think about the ownership group, the financial resources aren't there to compete. But a fixed cost like spending money on internal programming for player development is something you can do realistically to compete. Let's be honest. A massive chain of Arby's is not going to compete with Guggenheim when it comes to financial resources. So we got to be doing player development, whatever cost that takes.
All right. Well, Jason, echoing what I said, that I think you can get to a better place as an organization if you spend the money in several different locations. It doesn't just have to be the biggest, baddest, hottest free agent out there. It could also be developing your future star players to get them to where you need them to be.
Yeah. I like. It was a text from the text line said the Cardinals are missing the bullpen cart. Missed that.
I'll bring it back. I've
Turn the lights off and let Ryan Helsley ride in on that.
They can use the golf cart I have for sale right now. Anybody looking for a great golf cart, find me on social media. Got a great golf cart for sale. Maybe the Cardinals can use it out of the bullpen.
You don't want those relievers sprinting out there like that.
All right. I know we've got 2 more mic drops for sure. Let's get to the next one here from our guy, the 6'1" Hate.
The Cardinals need a lot. They need an ownership that actually cares and wants to win championships. They need a president of baseball operations and front office that has some huevos to push back on ownership when they don't want to spend money. We need a manager and coaching, the rest of the coaching staff that can actually teach baseball instead of just showing them what an iPad looks like. And they need players that actually care to win. It's basically, it's easy. But, you know, as a fan, I'm not going to spend my money on going to games if they don't care to spend the money on talent. We should have had Bryce Harper, but DeWitt didn't want to do it. We should have had Luis Robert, but DeWitt didn't want to do it. So, yeah, we probably could have had Juan Soto, but cold dead hands. So we saw how that worked out. And, of course, you didn't refill your pitching staff after Flaherty failed, after some of the other failures. So got to get it going, boys.
So I often like the pushback on ownership. It's tough. It's tough to push back on the people that are paying you. Like if they want a specific thing or don't want to spend a specific amount, you pushing back, probably lose your job. Probably find somebody that couldn't do the job you do in the way that they want it done. Mm-hmm. So I think that there has to be, I don't want to say tiptoe or walking on eggshells, because who wants to live or work in that type of work environment? But I think you do have to find middle ground where you can go to them. And who's to say, we often just assume that Mo has not had these tough conversations, and maybe the answer is always no. Mm-hmm. Maybe he says, hey, you know, Bryce Harper is out there. We should, no. Okay, you know, Shohei, hell no. Like, maybe those conversations are had, but the answer is no. And so you can't be upset at John Mozeliak for attempting, if he is. I don't know if he is or if he isn't.
We don't know.
But it all goes back to the ownership. If they are unwilling to spend the above their comfort level, then you're not going to get those superstar players, because they're going to go elsewhere to markets where I can get $30, $40, $50 million and be comfortable and not have to, you know, worry about it here in St. Louis. It's not going to happen.
All right, we're going to close out the segment here. Apparently, we got a beauty mic drop from the Snake Pit contributor, Dr. Smooshy Poops.
What are the Cardinals missing? Well, if I had to put my hand on it, I would say a number 1 starting pitcher. Maybe number 2. You could probably use number 3. Maybe a big bat in the 3 hole in the lineup. Somebody to bat 4th. Maybe even a 5th hole hitter. From the bullpen standpoint, probably 1 or 2 more arms that could work. But you know, I think that's just part of it. You've also got leadership. You've got talent. Organizational depth, organizational developmental skills. I would say a front office who cares, an owner who cares, and basically an overall commitment to being the best baseball team that they can be year in and year out. So just plug a few of those holes, and we should be okay. But you know, hey, we got pretty good defense. And, you know what? It would be cool to see some churros down at the stadium. Always like a good churro during a ball game. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Smushy Poops.
Yeah. I mean, just a few things.
I don't know if I feel any better.
Well, Jamie, it's how you view it, right?
Yeah.
Cup half full.
Oh, yeah.
Just a few things that he mentioned.
A few things, like half the roster.
A few hundred things.
Yeah.
Everything that it takes to
be a champ.
Just be a baseball team.
Okay. Well,
a franchise.
That was our mic drop segment. When we come back, we have Beat the Streak and Biggest Question of the Day right here in the Fast Lane.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals go for the sweep tonight after defeating the Tampa Bay Rays last night 5-2. Kyle Gibson will take the mound for the Redbirds going up against Shane Baz. First pitch is at 6:15. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Beat the Streak and our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this SportsCenter update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I want to hit baseballs. All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
Welcome back to Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Before we get to Beat the Streak and our guy Alex, let's remember that 101 has your chance to win a pair of lawn tickets to see Green Day with special guest Rancid next Thursday, August 15th at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Our question today is, Marshy?
Which country did the United States basketball team beat today in the semifinal at the Olympics? So which team?
There you go. Text it in. We'll be grabbing the 101st texter and text that into 314-399-9646. Find out all ticket details as well as other information at 101ESPN.com. All right, Alex, how you doing, bud?
We're doing good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing pretty good. Not too bad.
Alex is on his way to the Cardinals game right now.
Is he? All right.
I'm in the stadium right now already.
Awesome. Oh, wow. I like it. All right, Marshy, what are we at here so we can get to it so Alex can go enjoy batting practice or warm-ups or what, or a beer? You never know.
Absolutely. Jamie, you have a 5-game hitting streak right now.
Not
right
bad.
behind Jamie is Anthony with a 3-game hit streak. I have a 2-game hit streak, and Alex and Carey are tied at 1.
All right. I'm going to make this really easy. Alec Burleson. That's my horse today.
All right, let's see who Anthony wants today. He wants Yandy Diaz once again.
Diaz.
All right.
I am going to pick, let's see here. Give me Paul Goldschmidt.
Ooh.
Wow, Marshy going
For a
chalk.
home run.
Which isn't really chalk.
Yeah, kind of is. Alex, you go ahead. I'll go last.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'm wearing his jersey tonight and hope to watch him get a hit live. We're going to go with Nolan Arenado.
Oh,
Nolan Arenado.
All right.
Give me Mason Wynn.
CD going way off the board.
Yeah, you know me.
Never taken that guy before.
Got to get back to what I know.
I hear you. All right, so there's our Beat the Streak plays. Alex, a couple things. One, have a great time at the ball game. Hopefully the Cardinals bring home a winner. And 2, good luck, and hopefully we're talking to you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to all you guys as well.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, Alex.
You too.
Thank you. All right, that's Beat the Streaks. Time for our biggest question of the day.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, gentlemen, we can't go a day without hearing from Thanks Dad. Thanks Dad is always providing a laugh for us, but today has an insightful question. The biggest question of the day from Thanks Dad. In the documentary Top Gun, they remind us that pilots in Vietnam relied on air-to-air missiles and lost their dogfighting skills. Baseball players rely on raw talent and analytics. Have they lost their dogfighting baseball skills?
Wow.
So you're saying they're not dogs anymore?
Not all of them, but some of them. Because I would argue that Tommy Pham's still a dog.
Okay.
I would argue that Shohei Ohtani's probably still a dog.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, probably a dog.
Yeah, Juan Soto. You got a few of them.
You know, you got guys that just look like they enjoy smashing the baseball.
I think we were talking about this a little bit in the office before the show, just about, how skill set, how sports are so focused now on the specific skill set as opposed to just the natural ability of learning how to play the game the right way. So many coaches teaching certain aspects, analytics, the launch angle. You got to hit home runs because that's what's going to get you paid. Bunting, man, throw up. We don't work on that. If you can need to bunt, you're probably in the wrong place, pal. The hell are you doing?
Till you give me a bonus from bunting.
Till you give me a bonus from bunting. I'm trying to hit it over that fence out there. So maybe the game has definitely changed drastically, in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
From what it was 30 years.
It has. I still think the best players have that dog in them. I really do. I think that when you look at some of the best players in Major League Baseball, pick your team, whatever team it is, their best player probably has that dog in them. Like, even here in St. Louis with the Cardinals, I think Tommy Pham is one of those guys. I think Sonny Gray is one of those guys. I think Contreras is one of those guys. I even feel like Nolan Arenado, for the most part of his tenure here, he's been that guy, So Brendan Donovan, there are more guys than you think that have that old school kind of dog in them. But I think it's when baseball players start to struggle that they veer away from their natural instincts and that dog in them.
Yeah.
And then they go look at the analytics and get even more confused by all that.
So how do you get back to it, though?
You break all the iPads.
Every one of them?
Every single one.
Did somebody get in trouble for doing that?
Why? No. It was a phone.
Was it a phone?
It was a phone.
Well, I'm thinking of somebody that broke all the iPads. I can't remember who it was.
Tom Brady said that it's just because he does that with all his phones when he's done with them.
Didn't Ken Dorsey break an iPad after a game, Marshy? Yeah, I think so.
Oh, he absolutely did. And I think not too long after that, he was then fired.
Yeah, he did get fired. Bills.
It probably had nothing to do with the iPad.
Probably had to do with what he was watching on the iPad, which was poor play.
I would say that. So what do you do? I don't know what you do. I think that for me as a coach or a manager, I would like to, I think from the day I arrive in that clubhouse or locker room, I would like the players to realize that they're there based upon their natural athletic ability and their hard work. They have been given other tools to refine said skills and help that hard work. But on my team, we're going to play the game the right way. And when we need a certain amount of information, we'll go get it. But the information isn't going to dictate how we work or how we play as a team. The information is going to help us when we run into obstacles.
As it should. It shouldn't be the final answer for everything that you do. Again, it should. There you go. It should just give you guidance into what to expect. Because, even if something is 80% of the time, that means 20% of the time it's not. So you still have to react. And I think at times that part of athletics, and that's the dog, that's the ability, the raw talent, the ability to adapt and adjust is what makes players great. Like, you can have an idea of what's coming, but if that doesn't happen, how do you respond? And I think sometimes people get locked up. They get froze. That's not what the computer said. And they're unable to adapt and adjust. And then you're losing games. You're losing those at bats. You're losing those plays. You're not having the success because you're so dialed into what's supposed to happen instead of what is actually happening.
And I think, to put a bow on this, the most successful athletes are the ones that are able to find that balance between the eyeball test, their natural ability, and what the analytics are telling them about certain situations.
I agree.
So, all right, that was a great question from, was that Thanks, Dad?
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. Thank you for all that. We're on the stretch run here. We got one more segment to go. I'm right now, as we speak, I will be ducking out. I'm headed over to Helen Fitzgerald's. We got the Stella Artois Hot Ones and Hot Wings Trivia finale going on at Helen Fitzgerald's from 6 to 8 p.m. So if you want to get out, want to go have some fun, meet me there at 6. And Carey will drive this bus the rest of the way to the finish line.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Don't Have fun out there. Be safe.
Bet the board.
Yeah.
Criticisms, compliments.
Yeah.
Next. 101 ESPN. Thank you, Carey.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh. Jamie Rivers is on his way to Helen Fitzgerald's for a contest he's doing for Stella Artois. He's going to have some good fun over there and drink some drinks and have some hot wings, hot
ones challenge. Yeah, you think you could do that?
I hate spicy food.
I'm not a huge fan either.
I have acid reflux, heartburn.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you. No, sir.
I can do it, and, it'll be fine at the end of the day. I won't be fine in the process of doing it. I'll probably end up crying, but I'll need some ketchup and a nice cold glass of milk with me at all times. And I'd be crying. I'd be sobbing like a little baby.
I wouldn't do well because, like I said, heartburn for me is real. Spicy foods just don't agree with me. I feel like my chest, my inside is trying to be on the outside. So, yeah, it doesn't work well for me, Marshy. I'm not good at that. I hate it, actually.
I like wings. I just don't like hot wings. But I do like trivia, so if you want to participate, go to Helen Fitzgerald's and meet Jamie there.
Indeed. We had a great show today. We had a lineup brought to you by Ryan Dog for the 2025 Cardinals predictions, what that would look like. We went over that, had some ideas and some options. We got your mic drops as to what the Cardinals are missing from an organizational standpoint. The Dallas Cowboys got 3 guys that need to be signed. Are they going to sign them? I don't know. If you need to find out, you can listen to it on the podcast. And that is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Marsha, we got Bet the Board, 3 stars of the day, criticisms and compliments. Where do we go?
All right, so let's start off with Bet the Board. And Carey, you and Jamie are tied with 3 points this month. So Jamie already gave us his play.
Yeah.
Who are you going with?
Yeah, I know where I'm going. I'm going back to what I know. Juan Soto, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He is minus 30. Give me that guy.
I am going, by the way, Jamie is taking the Cardinals money line.
All right.
So that is Jamie's pick. I am going with Cardinals Rays first inning tie. I think the first inning will result in a tie.
Okay.
And that's at minus 140.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, and we'll know by the the second inning if it's. I don't have to wait that long.
Early.
I don't have to wait an entire game to know.
You like to get your bets out of the way.
Yeah,
I noticed that. You don't like waiting around all day.
Not really.
You've been impatient, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I just,
okay.
I want to see what happens, and then I can just move on and just enjoy the game for what it is and not have to sweat it out. So,
gotcha.
Looks like Anthony is going with Kyle Gibson over 5.5 strikeouts tonight. So that will be Anthony's play for tonight's game.
All right, not bad. We are. What are our records right now?
Okay, so right now you are 3-2. Jamie is also 3-2. I just picked up my first win last night. Thank goodness the game didn't go over 7.5 runs.
Okay,
it was just at 7. So I have 1 point, and then Anthony also has 1 point.
So you both are 1-3. Jamie and I are 3-2.
3. Yep. So,
okay.
I'm 1-4.
You 1-4.
Yeah, we're 1-4.
1-4.
You two are 3-2.
Gotcha. All right. What do you got for criticisms and compliments, Marshy?
We have from FedEx Brian, Jamie, hurry up and get over to Helen Fitzgerald's. If I get out of work early enough, I have a Rivers sweater I need to retire to a case.
Ooh, well, Jamie, I'm sure you're listening on your road. Don't speed, sir. Make sure you have your safety belt on. Follow all rules and regulations on the highways and byways. He will be there soon, FedEx Brian. So hopefully you all can cross paths.
So the 618 says ketchup and wings, yuck. I agree. I do not put ketchup on my wings.
Listen, I don't judge people for their food. You know what condiments they choose to eat and what they like. Marshy, I know some people like ketchup on steaks. I don't know if you're that type of guy, but some people don't like anything on their steak. Ketchup and wings is an intriguing combination, but it's your combination nonetheless.
So it's not ketchup on the wings.
Okay.
It would just be ketchup itself.
So you just drink ketchup?
I would, if I'm crying because of the wings being that hot, I'm taking the bottle of ketchup and squirting it in my mouth.
Okay.
To get rid of the hotness.
I don't know which is worse, Marshy. I think actually
probably
dipping the wing.
Squirting the ketchup into my mouth.
Yeah.
But at that point, I don't care because it's so hot.
Okay. Well, there you have your answer. See, 618, excuse me.
That was not the 618.
I apologize, 618. And to you, 618. who you said is in the snake pit now.
I believe so.
If you're in the snake pit, 618, let us know. We love to hear from you.
I love the 618.
Ah, man, we love him.
I love the 618.
Because it's about passion, Marshy. He has a passion for the St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Blues. He wants to win. He expects to win, as do I. And so, yeah, I get it. Hey, you want to win. You don't want anything less.
So we got a text from the 817. I think this might be a criticism of the Cardinals. We've been getting a lot of that lately. Any organization is a reflection of its leader. If your leader does not know who he is or isn't confident in the path forward, the organization reflects that.
I agree. I've said it time and time again. You know, good organizations, bad organizations, everything starts at the top. If you are not having success, look at the top. Look and see what they're doing or what they aren't doing. And if you are having success, look at the top. I often speak about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, the Rooneys did a great job. Mr. Rooney's office was always open. Not one of those fake open door policies. Literally open door, come in if you want to talk. If you don't, you don't have to, but if you choose to, come on, let's talk. Let's see how life is going. You know, Jamie was talking about coaches that give you the spiel about, how's the family, and then move on. That was not how the Rooneys were. So great organizations do it the right way.
From the 815, Marsh, have you tried ranch? Jeez. I hope I don't come across you eating wings. I love ranch with wings.
Yeah.
I love it. What I'm saying is you can use ketchup to essentially
block the
heat.
I've never tried that a day in my life.
That's why, like, if I have spicy chili, I'll throw a little ketchup in it to essentially get rid of the heat.
Ooh, I don't know.
No, you can't even taste it.
Oh, no, I'm okay. Ketchup in chili?
Oh, it's like a chili. It's like chili, man.
Chili?
No, I'm not eating that crap.
What do we got for the 3 stars?
All right, our 3rd star of the day goes out to Dr. Schmooshy Poops. I think that's 2 days in a row. A great mic drop, always fantastic.
I appreciate that.
And even said in the snake pit that absolutely did not contribute to the conversation, just wanted to provide a laugh, and I think he did so.
You did a great job.
The 2nd star of the day goes to the USA basketball team for not getting upset by Serbia.
Ooh, they made it close.
They did.
They tried. They didn't try to lose, but they did try to make it close, and they did make it close. It was not great.
And our 1st star of the day goes to going deep into baseball games.
Make sure we are clear about that. Going deep, more than 7 is what you want to go if you're a starting pitcher. You definitely want to do that. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Carey Davis. That's Andrew Marsh. Jamie Rivers. Anthony Stalter will be back next week. Cardinals, Rays, 6:15 tonight. You can check it out. We will be back talking more sports tomorrow and having a great time. Till then, see ya.